guys, welcome back. I'm gonna post the link right away. I have a few things to discuss. Of course, we're gonna beat the dead horse of the new Rolex releases, new Tudor releases. But I also have a few different pieces that I liked that were released in the last few weeks. Some of them from Watches and Wonders in Geneva, from Bulgari, from Hermes, some other brands. So hopefully I will have a panelist or two with me. Maybe I can get someone on board. I know for us on the West Coast, there's still time. It's only 8 p.m. For New York, maybe people are getting ready to go to bed, perhaps, but I'm sure we can squeeze a few more hours from them. And of course, for our friends across the ocean, on the other side of the pond, they're more than welcome as always as well. I've seen a couple of familiar names, familiar faces from the UK, from Ireland in the chat already. So I hope they will jump on. Mathis is here, legend, Archive, my brother. It's nice to see you. Full on John, welcome to the channel. Jay Gray, always nice to see you. Chunkster, of course, one of the supporters of this channel. Great guy. Mathis, just jump on. Let's talk about it on the stream. You can tell me about it because I haven't watched. I haven't seen it. Well, let me put it this way. I haven't seen it as it unfolded. Tim showed that snippet on his show, so I've seen it there. But yeah, let's jump on Mathis. We're here. We're gonna be here for the night. While Mathis jumps on, I'll just share this document, which is actually a kind of internal Rolex thing. Oh, Mathis is here. Mathis, my friend.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you
All
look
right, give
fresh.
me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
You got a new shave, I think, right?
I got fixing my audio. No, it's been growing for a little bit.
Okay,
How you doing?
good, man. Nice to see you.
Good. You too. You too. How was that dinner you did? That looked awesome, bro.
Man, this was good. You guys had some of those extended universe meetings of
Oh
actually.
yeah, isn't it the most fun? Come on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because look, making new friends, it takes time. You got to warm up a little bit, but when you have already established this kind of connection and managed to find a similar wavelength in conversation already, um, it just clicks. Because I've been talking to these people for a while now.
Yeah.
So when I met them in real life, it was almost instant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I met up with Kevin and Tim that first night, it was like having friends from high school I haven't seen. It was cool.
Yeah.
So
And and you guys have that. I mean, Tim certainly. I don't know Kevin
yeah.
necessarily, but Tim certainly has that vibe.
Oh yeah. Just as cool. Just as cool. But it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm happy you did that because that picture you'll have forever. So
Yeah, of course. And
how did you get that printed I think you sent a picture of the frame when you were there. How'd you get that printed so fast?
it was basically I mean, it's like this cheesy Italian joint, right? The food is good, very generous portions, but it's decorated a certain way where they're trying really hard to prove that they're authentically Italian. So they have
Okay.
these gigs going on. They had a photographer who snapped a few photos of us and then came back and said, like, so this is complimentary, and here you have a few, one is 15, two is $25 or something like.
Okay. I was thinking I was thinking that you brought like a camera and some kind of printer and you like made them right there, you know? I
That.
had
I'm glad I come across as such a dork, someone as someone who would do something like that. So I
yeah,
appreciate this.
no worries. No
But
worries.
uh, yeah, we had a fun time. That we had. It was very, it was a few blocks away from where Rolex lived apparently. So he
Okay.
just walked down. We met up in this bar, had a few beers, and then walked over to the Italian place, ate well, and got out and got into this other bar. Had another round and then just dispersed. But I think it was nice to meet everyone before Watch Time LA at the end of May, third week of May, I should say. Big
Okay.
Mac.
Big Mac.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Hey man, so nice to see you, man. What happened?
No, nothing. I was just thought I'd drop in here, see what's going on in the Lord show.
Is that a cat? Is that a dog, or is that a fish? What is it? What kind of
What do you mean?
your avatar is it a fish? Is it a cat, or is it a dog? What is it?
Oh shit. Okay, so I guess my avatar hasn't updated on my end. So it's a cat. It's a funny looking cat with flat feet, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because no, it still shows my old avatar on my end, with the Cartier. So, yeah, what you're looking at probably is a cat with cross eyes and flat feet.
Yeah, that is.
It is. It is. Yeah. So yeah, we had a fun time. You and Sirocco. What did you guys do when he came to Florida?
Well, I have my dad lives down the street and he's got a boat on the intercoastal. So we took his boat for a ride, and then we dropped him off at his hotel because you could get there by the water, and then I came back later with my vehicle and picked him up, and we went to dinner. And he's really cool, but like I always see Sirocco like on screen like this, like his head's like this.
Yeah.
So I didn't know like how tall he was or anything. So when I went to pick him up, the guy's like 6'3". He's a fucking monster, and I'm short, way shorter than him. So I was surprised, but he's really cool. He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, good that you guys had a fun time.
Oh yeah, and his woman was amazing too. She was just as cool.
Just as cool.
Yeah, oh yeah. She's like a sailing chick.
And she's American, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, how did you meet this Australian guy? She's like, sailing across the world. She met him, so it's pretty cool.
And I mean, of course, Sirocco lives in Australia, but if I'm not mistaken, he's from the Channel Islands, right? He's from Jersey.
I'm not sure. Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, it's good. It was nice to see him with his new watch.
Yeah.
Bluesy.
Yeah. So what he did there was his sister or somebody put his name on the list in another country, and she's had it for like a year, and he just hasn't been there to get it yet, or wherever she is. That's how he did.
Yeah, I think she's in Jersey.
Okay.
Like the island. Yeah.
Okay.
Between, in the channel between.
I don't know where. I don't know what country or continent even that is.
It's okay, man. You're American. we excuse you guys. It's okay.
He was talking about all these places, islands like around the Philippines and stuff. I had no clue what he was talking about. I was going, oh yeah, I know that area.
It's 21st century now. American exceptionalism is over. you'll have to learn more about the world. It's inescapable, Mathis.
I got you. I feel you.
We
So
could get
listen.
that stuff. Yeah.
So you
So
heard
what
about
happened?
which I didn't see it yet. I just saw tickers came on for like 10 seconds, and he said, "I just wanted to talk to these two new guys," and they just threw him off.
But listen, it was a very respectful and civil environment because they were addressing each other as sir.
You
know,
gotta
like-
have, yeah,
Yeah.
like how if you know how Howard Stern is, you gotta have controversy. If everything's too vanilla, no one's gonna watch it.
Sir, 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 Mathis,
Yes,
Your Grace. Yeah, I didn't watch it. You know,
me
I
neither.
think it's a nice idea though. You know, the fact that, you know, the guy just doesn't have much to say. So for him to be on 24/7, that's torture.
Yeah.
So it's good to do weekly shows and actually focus on quality over quantity. I think I'm in full support of that. What do you think, Joe?
Are we talking about the Marcelo show here, or
Yeah.
or what?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, whatever it is called these days.
Yeah, no, I did watch a little bit of it. Honestly, probably not even a full minute, but I seen that he had quite a few numbers in house, like 260. He was laying waste to the elite horology dungeon, but I don't expect those numbers to hold. But hey, no, BS aside, if it works for him, it works for him. You know, if he found a new rhythm, more power to him, and I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, I mean, far away from me and anything else connected to the Archieverse, but I wish him all the success. No, look, I mean,
Me too. Me too.
I don't think he bought viewers. I think those viewers were genuine, but those viewers were just there to tune in to see if it would be a shit show or not. I don't think Marcelo bought his viewers.
by
I
all
don't
means.
think. I think Marcelo is like I can't teach my mom to remember her Facebook password. You know, she forgets it every time, and I have to drive over there just to do that. You know, so it's like teaching your grandma or your dad something new. They just don't understand what's going on, I think.
Someone doesn't approve your choice of beverage, Mathis.
Pironi.
It's the
Italian
best
beer,
beer.
baby. It's my favorite.
It's the best one. Yeah, I actually tried to order Peroni when we sat down, but apparently they only had Stella, so that's what I had to
Okay.
drink.
Ooh, the official beverage of Sirocco.
That's right. That's right. I mean, after all, we have so much in common.
Yeah, Chunkster, you're right. Marcelo did miss the first half hour of his own stream. That's
Well,
all
then not
gone
much has
once a week.
changed. Not much has changed then from that. Jesus Christ, fuck me, Dad.
I saw that part, and then I saw the tea and tickers part. But you know, since I started watching all this stuff, I stopped watching TV, like any TV shows or anything. So this is it for me. So this is what I watch: TNT, Lord, Tim, and Archie.
I mean, look, that's what I heard. Tim was telling me, like, you know, Mathis is going crazy about everything that is going on in the Archivist. It's like more drama than any TV show, you know, any script that
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same boat, Matt. It's like I rarely watch TV now anymore until like the sports season. But other than that, yeah, I'm mostly glued to the Archie show because you just never know who's gonna do what or who's gonna show up or what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Having those people take over Marcelo's show like that, these like super me hashtag me too people, is the funniest thing in the whole world, you guys. When Tim asked me to come on that day when he did the Marcel burial show, I wasn't prepared for that, and it was the greatest night ever. It's the funniest thing ever. I can't get over it. I'll never get over it.
It was some funny shit. Like
Yeah.
the way you were pointing out certain things that happened in that live stream, and you were so into it. That's the thing. Like, you had like real excitement about it, because that's what I really love. We can be sometimes too involved and immersed in the drama that
Yeah.
we can't really observe how funny it is from outside, right? So
Yeah.
it's good to have people on board like you, Mathis.
For example, when you first came around and like that time you and Tim had an argument, I called
Right.
Tim that night. I was like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" But then I grew to love you the next day. So don't.
It's like, a lot of it is people don't understand how much posturing and how much theatricality goes into this. It is, you have to be over the top because you don't actually share the same physical space, right? So
Right.
to get your point through, you have to add something to it. You have to supplement it somehow. You have to exaggerate it even. So it's all in good fun.
Yeah. And when Tim says I saved his life every day, I didn't save his life. He just got a little drunk. You know what I'm saying?
A little drunk. He was laid out like a starfish on the sidewalk.
That's true. You're right. You're right.
Look, I mean, I don't know the exact situation. I can only observe it from outside. But look, I mean, I don't want to make it so morbid, but human life is so fragile sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really about one bad decision, one person looking away rather than taking care of the next person, and suddenly very atrocious things can happen. So you might as well. It's better, that's what we are here for, after all, to look after each other, to take care of each other in some way.
Yeah.
Especially if we are talking about real friendship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But anytime you get a chance to hang out with somebody from here, I recommend doing it. Because why not?
Hey, Al, I think you are in Southern California, right? So we'll get to meet at watch time the latest. But speaking of which, Rolex and we are gonna watch the Canelo Bivol fight that's coming up
Nice.
on the Cinco de Mayo weekend. So if you want to join us, Al, and if I remember correctly, you are in the LA area as well. So send me an email and we can make arrangements, and you'll see. I mean, I guess we are real, but not really what you see here necessarily.
So, Lord, did you see the disaster mishap I had at the AD or no?
No. Tell me about it.
I'll show you. I'll show you real quick.
I don't
One
have the
second.
slightest clue.
Oh, let me show you real quick.
Yeah, let's
Just give me-
go.
I need 1 minute.
Let's just say here that I caught the tail end of it, but was Mike the Snake thinking the new Tudor Black Bay Pro had a Hess-like crystal on it?
Something like that. I think sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes people catch the conversation at the end, at the tail end of it, and they end up assuming something and they get confused. I think Mike has those moments, but he means well.
I just thought I heard him like, what the hell? I'm like, okay.
All right, so
Well, look, yeah.
when I first started watching Archie and stuff, I bought I put my name on some lists, but I figured they just threw the paper away. You know what I mean? So like a year went by, and then I bought this watch, the watch from the stream or whatever, Datejust 41.
Yeah.
Right? And then I've been thinking about getting another watch for a while. So I went to a store I've been looking at for a while. Like with your advice too, and Tim and everybody, I bought this.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a
Very nice.
1999. Right? So, for me, I'm spending some money. So I came home, I took an edible, Tim style, and I passed out. So I go to sleep, and then I get a phone call. This is in the same day, and it's the
Okay.
watch AD. It's the Rolex AD,
Okay.
and like I was just waking up, I was like out of it, and the lady goes, "Oh, we have this for you, a Rolex number." So I said, "All right, I'm on my way," but I didn't catch what she said. Right? So I had a fucking.
Oh, you have twins. But are they both black dial
Yeah.
and both smooth?
Yep. Exactly the
Bezel?
same. So I'm gonna sell the original one I got.
Good. I mean,
And then
look, that's the thing. It's we say it in a funny way, but you hear a call from an AD and that tells you Rolex, chances are you need to come and get it. And worst case scenario, you will get rid of it.
so I went there today. So I'm gonna sell the original one. I'll keep the one in my name. So I went there today to see because when I bought this, I put my name on the list for the Explorer 2. So I went to go check, and they didn't have my name on the list. So I put my name there with a new guy. So I think the lady sold me this watch, and then for some reason she didn't actually put me on the list for the next watch.
Hmm.
All right.
But so I put my name down with another guy that works there. So I got to sell a watch now. I'm not a watch seller guy. You know what I mean?
It's okay, man. You're in Miami.
Yeah.
Everyone sells watches in Miami. You have to get into it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be the next Del Rey watch, man.
I live close to Delray, actually.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Del Rey doesn't have a physical location, right? They do everything over the phone or online.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought that's what I heard. Anyways, like Del Rey doesn't have like a physical store, for the public, anyways.
I mean, that's possible. Maybe they don't have a storefront. That's possible.
I've looked at his website before, and it didn't look like he had like updated. It was like updated for stuff you could buy. So I figured he had a store, but I don't know.
He actually has some decent things every now and then. I remember for a while. I mean, I think Federico just he bought like a shit ton of Maurice Lacroix, and he was pitching the hell out of them. I got like 3-4 YouTube videos until they were gone because he couldn't move the shitters.
It's that's a strange brand, man. I don't even know what the provenance of that brand is. Where are they coming from? Why do they exist?
China.
I have no idea. But yeah, over time, I think Federico has spruiked a lot of interesting watches. I think he's still a huge fan of Girard-Perregaux, no? The Laureato.
I thought he was more of an H. Moser guy, to be honest, but I think you're right as well.
I think he has.
I know he's a huge guy of independence. Put it that way.
Right. Yeah. So you're keeping the new one, Mathis, because that one is in your name. The card.
Yeah. It's 2022, 2021, March 16th. I'm sorry, 2022, March 16th, with my name on it. And the other one is just a gray market with somebody else's name on it. So I'll get rid of that one.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
That was the first Rolex you bought, though?
Yep.
Ooh, so then that makes it a very interesting conversation. Do you sell your first Rolex?
In this case, I guess so, because I bought two of the same ones like an idiot.
And how long have you had the first date just?
About a year.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Yeah, I bought it in March, and I bought this one in March, so a year. Yeah.
Sometimes people get hung up, I think, on terminology and certain kinds of, fetishized phrases like first watch, first Rolex, or like birthday year watch. I think they can be meaningful if you actually have invested something, emotionally and perhaps also financially, which always happens anyways.
It does, because I do feel for the first watch. I do feel it. Even though the second one has my name on it, I do feel attached to the first one.
I'd
A little
get rid of
bit.
the second one. I mean, the first one has all your memories. It's what got you started. Fight the other one. Flip it to the gray market.
Oh, no.
Dump it in
Oh,
the
no.
trash bin. Do something with it, but don't keep it. Keep the first one. Never sell your first Rolex. That's what Archie Luxury says. Never sell
Okay.
your first Rolex.
Yeah, and what did Archie Luxury do with his first Rolex?
Well, I mean, that's a little different case because he bought Patek's, but that's beside the point.
No, I appreciate. I appreciate.
I would say
mixed up.
don't get hung up on it. You have the exact same watch, and this one has the card in your name. So if you really want to inject that sort of emotion into it, there you go. That's a fresh start for you.
But that day, sorry to interrupt you.
No.
That day I had no choice though, right? I had to just buy it. I mean, they're not gonna say, "Oh, he doesn't want this. Let's get him something else from the back." I had no choice. It was either buy it or don't, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
yeah. When the 80 calls, you buy it, no matter how disappointing it is.
And when did you realize they had to go, to the back room and bring it out until you realized what you got?
They sat me down, got me a water, about 15 minutes. They brought it out. I didn't know what it was until she pulled the box open.
So it was very dramatic, in fact.
Yes, but I played I acted like, "Oh, I'll take it." You know.
Wait, Mathis, weren't you wearing the same watch?
No,
while you
I
were getting
didn't
the new
bring
one?
I didn't bring the watch when I went.
Oh, I was about to say, man, that would have been awkward, man, trying to pretend like you were happy to see it.
I woke up out of bed, jumped in my car, and I just drove there.
And how long? So how long was the drive?
20 minutes, just a Galleria
it's not
Mall
bad.
for
So
Lauderdale.
basically, you waited another 40 minutes to find out that you are buying the exact same watch all over.
Yeah, and I bought 2 watches the same day. I picked this up that morning, came home, ate, took a nap, and got a call from the AD. And I was real nervous about buying this one. I asked him, like, does the bracelet match the thing and all that stuff that Lord talks about? I asked him those things. I got papers. And then I got home, and then a watch store called me. I figured it was the place I just bought a watch from, and they made a little mistake with the something.
Uh-huh.
And then she's like, "Oh, no, this is the Rolex store at the Galleria Mall." I said, "Oh." And she says, "We have your," and said like these numbers, and it just didn't register in my brain. And I just, all right, I'm coming. But I would have went anyways to get it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, who gets the chance to pick up 2 Rolexes a day? That doesn't happen to everyone all that often. So it's all good.
So then now, if I get my name called for the Explorer 2, the brand new one, I'll get rid of this one, and I'll have 2 in my name.
Yeah, and that will
love
be
to get the Explorer 2.
I want to
be
white or black.
Right? Okay. And do you prefer the larger size?
Yeah, I prefer the larger size.
So this is just something to hold you over, basically, until then.
I didn't think of it that way when I bought it, but now that they actually called me and seeing that they'll probably call me again, I'd get the modern. Maybe if I get the modern black one, maybe I'll keep this one. But Mathis ain't rich. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have 3 Rolexes. Most people shouldn't, but fuck it.
It happens.
Yeah, I work for myself, so fuck it. Whatever. Sorry to curse on the stream.
No, that's quite all right, man. This is not really a family-friendly stream as you would define it. I try my best, but I can't keep myself in check, so I'm not gonna try to keep other people in check.
We're not as sophisticated as the Marcelo show. We don't address each other by sir.
sir.
Sir. Sir.
I've
Oh, yeah.
only
Sir Mathis.
heard about this Me Too stuff in the news, and I've never seen it in real life, like this.
But here's my question: If so, you have Marcelo, Austin Daniels, Mark, and Shane. If the four of them got together, do you think they could patch up a whole beard?
So all four of them are in Japan, right? All four of them are in Japan.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
No, they don't have a beard between all of them. I barely do.
No, you have a nice full beard, man. It's but yeah, Marcelo, Mark, Austin Daniels, and Shane. That's like
When they kicked Titty and Tickers off, Austin Daniels said some shit, right afterwards. I guarantee if you put those two guys in the cage, Teen Tickers will fucking destroy that guy. Okay, destroy him.
Oh my god!
I don't. Lord, you're a okay, right? You box. If you got in a street fight, you're using your hands as defense.
Yes, of course.
Right? Okay.
And my head and my legs to run away in the other direction. But
if I got in a street fight and I can't run, I'm not boxing. I'm taking you down to the ground.
Right.
Okay. T and Tickers would take that guy down to the ground and ground and pound him. That's it. He's a little skinny guy. That guy.
T and Tickers would throw at you everything but the kitchen sink. I think most of us won't survive an attack by Tickers. I'm not even kidding. Because the guy has fire in him, man. It's that's the kind of person you're talking about. It's not just the average guy. Sometimes you just have to forget about how tall someone is and how much they weigh and how muscular they are. None of that matters at some level, especially when you're one-on-one on the street. It's about something else. So yeah, I don't think Austin Daniels would stand much of a chance against our T and Tickers.
He said, yeah, get him out of here. He said something so stupid.
Well, yeah, God knows. I mean, Austin Daniels, thankfully, is not coming to the new, next London Watch show. So
he chose. I think he chose his camp.
Say, Lord, can you start knitting on the stream?
Oh man.
maybe I can get someone to paint my nails or something, as a side attraction. Look, man, I mean, I thought I was sensitive, man. I really, like Mathis is saying, I didn't even know that these kinds of people existed.
Oh, they're awful. I've met a few of them in my life. Trust me, they're just awful.
Because I get, I do get offended when people use like racial epithets in the chat, whether it's anti-Asian, anti-Semitic,
that's anyone. That's any reasonable person.
Yeah, but
to be fair,
the idea that you would actively seek to get offended by very general and abstract things that someone says was weird.
Yeah.
Like about
Lord, please lower your voice. You're being very hostile. You're being very aggressive with me, Lord.
I mean, as if that were a bad thing. Like I can be very aggressive for sure.
Yeah, the tone. Your tone is like.
And then he was offended that people called him headmaster. What do you expect? When you address other adult men, I'm making a list, you are all being very aggressive and rude, and your tone, I don't like your tone.
Yeah. But there's some guaranteed things that you could say. I guarantee that Jamie Opulence would only give good advice to somebody.
Yeah.
I couldn't see someone like Jamie Opulence. You could tell he's a good-hearted guy. So when you hear him come on that chat and then have to quit, it's so sad. And like it happened to 8 guys in a row. It was like NATO, all of them, LA Meth Witch. It was the most drama. It was like season finale.
Well, yeah, even with Dodger, like I said, I feel like it takes a lot to get at Dodger's, like underneath Dodger's skin,
Yeah.
A Dodger, I loved how Dodger signed off. He said, "Well, good luck with class."
Yeah.
After like the first 10 minutes of trying to get his camera set up correctly.
Mario Vieira, you're right. Jamie was very diplomatic. I would
No.
safely say if Jamie has to pull you aside to say something to you, he's right. That's what I would put money on that.
Jamie's a teddy bear. I like Jamie Happy.
He's the
big
man.
old teddy bear.
No, I mean the thing is, I appreciate anyone and everyone who survived that that channel, because I feel like a lot of them are still like people who have just come out of a broken relationship with an abusive partner, and they still have these warm and fuzzy feelings against that person, even though that person just beat the shit out of them and disrespected them and emotionally manipulated them and taken advantage of them. And things are still very raw for a lot of people, and I understand that they invested a lot of hope in this guy who absolutely didn't deserve it. So
right. I felt really bad when Dodger showed up on Archie's stream. He's like, "Yeah, we're homeless. We got no home to go to." Like, oh, Dodger.
Oh man, I love the Dodger, the Badger.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah,
When Archie
Yeah.
Archie mispronounces a name, it makes me so happy. When he said Lord Helipot, and then the next day he said Lord Hellas, I forget how he said it, but then he says Big Mac, Anthony, Napo, Itamo. I love it. I love it.
Like everyone knows Archie's doing it just for a laugh. Like he doesn't give a shit, honestly.
I don't think he could say Speedy Hernanda.
It's like it's like a mix of both, of course. When a lot of times when you're reading these things out loud, of course you misspell, you misspeak. Anyways, a lot of times he just sticks with it, or sometimes he in fact willfully misreads stuff. So it's all kind of part of the same show. Sometimes he can't read, sometimes he reads willfully in a funny comical mode, like Big Mac rather than Big Meech.
Yeah.
Dude, did you see like my watch review through Archie? Like he even says it like in the intro. He's like, "It's the Big Mac collection. Big Mac, Big Meech."
If you only knew what that was from. I know what your name is from. I should make my name Larry Hoover.
I thought about changing it like officially over to Big Mac and just writing it MECH, but then I feel like he'd go backwards and pronounce it Meech, so
Yeah, same with Dodger and Badger. Maybe the first time he kind of said it offhand, but now he sticks with it. It's always Badger, Dodger, Badger, something like that. And look, I mean, of course, Dodger is right to be heard. That channel, when I started, taking any part in that live stream, that channel was scheduled around Dodger's day because he was always there and he was around and he was the best host. The guy is
Dodger single-handedly carried that live stream. I told Marcel to his face, as soon as Dodger leaves, you are fucked, my guy, because Dodger is pretty much your core.
Yeah.
And he has not only is he cool, but he also has this natural ability to put other people at ease. And that's just a great host. You don't want to lose a person like that.
He was doing large chunks from Marcelo. Very large chunks every day. It was good for a while.
Yeah.
It's still good if you're Mathis. I love it still. I can't wait to watch the whole thing of what just happened a few hours ago. I worked all day, so
Yeah.
I'm, I can't. I can't. So, what did you have at that dinner, Lord? When you guys went to dinner?
Oh, we went Italian. I just got spaghetti. There wasn't
Okay.
much that I could eat.
But yeah,
They got a huge plate of lasagna that
Okay.
Rolex said he would finish, but he couldn't, of course. Um, and then what else was on the table? I don't even remember because I was just focused on the spaghetti, of which I ate a lot. And I ate leftovers yesterday too. So I'm like I've been eating pasta since the last 3 days.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. I love my carbs, man. I don't have a problem with them.
Speedy horrendous.
Speedy
Let's
or
see. That's how he says it. He says, Speedy's horrendous.
I wonder is his last name Hernandez actually or
It's
not?
gotta be. I think so.
Yeah,
I'm
and
pretty sure.
Oh
It
no
is.
no. His logo is
Speedy Gonzalez. Yeah,
yeah.
the character.
So maybe that's his last name. Probably. I'm not sure.
But I'm guessing he's a fan of Speedmasters who went by Explorer Hernandez for like what 2 days and he went back to his name. What happened there?
Yeah. Um. He had a thing on Tim's channel, like spend $100 to change his name, and then it just didn't go through. But it's okay. Tim's a maniac. I've had a lot of fun with him the 2 times we hung out.
You know
gotta
what? I
say.
feel like having a drink with Tim would be an experience.
Bro, he's awesome. He's awesome. But you could have a great time with anybody. Like I didn't know what I was in for when I met up with him the first time, but it was
I'd like
great.
to have beers with Mike the Snake. I feel like
Mike
just
the
even being
Snake?
sober around him, like if you gave Mike the Snake a 6-pack and let him go to town, I feel like he would tell some of the most interesting stories.
Would you fly in a
Not that he
plane with
doesn't
him?
already, but still,
Would you fly in a plane with him?
Like a plane that Mike the Snake flies? Would
Yeah,
I?
Mike the Snake's the pilot, or his dad's the pilot. Would you fly with them?
I invoke my right of the fifth?
No comment.
I love Mike the Snake, but I ain't getting in a plane with him.
I'm not getting in a plane with any amateur pilot, honestly. So
Yeah.
nothing against Mike the Snake. I would never fly with someone who is a hobbyist. Ever. Like commercial to me, I'm not necessarily afraid of flying, but commercial planes are stressful enough for me that I wouldn't really fly anything like that. It's just not my thing.
Mike the Snake is like a real person. He can't play acting, That's why I love him so much and like Tea and Tickers. They're who they are. They're not playing any gimmick, That's why I enjoy guys like that.
Hey man, it's okay. We don't we can't all have that kind of strong personality. So we have to play games and gimmicks. We leave the authenticity to TN Tickers and Mike the Snake and Marcelo.
Jay Gray, I always look pilots in the eye when I board the plane. But when I get on, yeah, I feel you.
I should tell Mike the Snake that he needs to take his purple monster into the AD and just put on a show, a little razzle dazzle, see if he can, while the AD's into giving him something nice.
He should show them the stream when he goes there. Show them the birthday episode.
Well, look, I mean that could be. That's actually not such a bad idea because you are basically saying you make me happy. Here are dozens of people who actually love me and who did this thing for me. you'll instantly get good karma.
They'll remember you.
At least. At the very
Absolutely.
And again, I know that Rolex ADs are not really starved for business. They're not really out there trying to convince people to buy their merchandise or anything. But
Nope.
no, you can't. Yeah, you can't be hurt by, appeasing one customer once every so often. I actually don't know why at least some of the ADs don't actually implement this strategy. Of course, everyone has their preferred customers list, but they should have at least integrate one or two new people into it once. You never know what you can get from them.
Yeah. So these people that work at Mayors or wherever, the Rolex ADs, what kind of livings do they make?
They don't earn quite a lot, I think. I think they work on commission a lot of times.
Okay.
But then again, that, like, at the end of the day, a lot of the allocations are rubber stamped by managers. So it's not like they have ultimate control over their own fate. Yeah, Diego would actually know. Yeah, see, that's what it says. It's very cutthroat. It's commission, and they don't make the final decisions in a lot of the ADs, right? It has to go back to the manager who allocates the watch. Hey, Osi.
Yeah.
How are you, man?
Lord Mattis. Who
Oh,
else is
see.
there? Oh, Big Mac. It's Big Mac. Joe Kramer.
Big neck, Big Mac.
'Cause I totally feel like I bought that last one from the AD. They called me, and since I checked a few weeks later, I went there and my name's not on any list. I totally feel like she didn't put my name on the list on purpose, because she sees I'm just, not looking to buy all kinds of jewelry and crazy shit. Just steal sports rolls, which I know that's not. You got to play the game, but
See, there's a lot of times there's no real list. What the SA has is her client list, his
Right.
or her client list. Okay, and so you go and you meet an SA, and the SA has 1,000 or 2,000 customers on her phone, and her goal is to remember all of her customers and what they want and what they've bought. And of course, what they've bought is also in the store CRM system. But like, information about what you want is in her head and on her phone, not on some kind of store system. So there's no
okay.
list.
So you think she's still, if she gets to Explore 2, you think she's still going to keep me in mind, possibly?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
you and whoever else is interested in that piece. So if that piece comes in, the manager says, "Okay, SA number 1, here's an Explorer 2 for you. Give it to one of your customers."
Okay.
And then she
But
picks.
now at that store, I talked to a different guy, and now I get maybe under his name, I'm on the on their computer for 2 watches. That might
Same AD.
Same store. I saw her.
I
saw
think
her
it
there
just-
today.
That's a no-no.
I don't know if it really
Oh.
matters who you talk to, Mathis. I think like if Lord and OC are working in the same building and you worked with Lord first, it doesn't matter if you talk to OC about putting your name down the list. That's technically you're Lord's client. So OC can take notes and stuff, but at the end of the day, your sales rep is Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of burned your essay a little bit by not showing
Right.
loyalty to
I was
her.
thinking that, and it was Sunday, so I figured she wouldn't be there, and then I saw her there.
Oh,
Well,
not
that's
good.
awkward.
I don't think she saw me.
I believe so strongly in essay loyalty that I turn down pieces from any store in the same chain.
Oh shit.
So, for example, I was in Las Vegas, right? And I was at Bucherer. Bucherer said, "Yes, we have a black Milgauss for you, sir." I said, "I can't." So I said, my SA, I have a deal with my SA. I only buy Rolex from her. She goes, I respect that.
Okay,
That's it. Done.
Damn.
it's good.
Can't do it.
I mean, I do. I've done something like that in other stores, not watch related, but when you have someone you're working with in a luxury store of some other kind, it does matter for you to invest, the time and of course the money into that relationship, because after all, these people are working on commissions 90% of the time. So
Right. And Lord, I think you, or Mathis, you were asking how much do these people get paid? It's not hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. These guys are making like 75,000 a year or 90,000 a year.
That's not bad at all.
Well, it's tough because they're working. All of their clients are people who can afford, or most of their clients are people who can afford very expensive watches.
Right.
So
let's say you're not selling watches. How much are they getting paid an hour, do you think?
Minimum wage, if that.
I don't think they get paid hourly. I think they probably have a flat salary of 50,000 a year or 60,000 a year or
Okay.
something like that.
Okay. Plus commissions.
It's
This isn't
probably
McDonald's. They're
50-50
not getting an
split.
hourly wage.
Okay.
what just happened there?
No, I said that, like, they're not at McDonald's. They're not getting $15 an hour. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, again, I think, what makes the difference is of course commission, but I think they're paid more than minimum salary, but it's not as glamorous of a job as a lot of us might imagine, right? Because sometimes people assume working in a luxury store, or luxury goods store, whether it's Rolex or Hermes or something else, might be a lucrative job, but a lot of times you just deal with very difficult people who can be outright insufferable for the most part, and you're making like a lower middle class salary often, unless you make good sales, and then it's a good middle class job. I don't think anyone could sneeze at that.
I'll have
Okay.
to just pull the stuff off from the safe. That'd be a good place to start.
What was that?
So, or they could just pull the stuff off from the safe and stop lying and say there's a shortage. That'd be probably a good place to start, honestly.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of times the sales associates are beholden to the manager or the owner of the store. I don't think I guess they make the final decisions on watches that are allocated to them, that are delegated to them, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I don't think they can just sell you any watch they have in the back, in and of themselves, like the sales associates. I don't think that's their fault necessarily.
Oh, they ain't gonna tell you anyways.
Right. I just
Yeah.
wish, I don't know, perhaps I just wish they wouldn't be so condescending about it. Long story short, I was talking, I was in Minneapolis and I was talking with the sales rep, and of course he's giving me the old song and dance. I'm sorry, sir, we can't give you a discount. These are highly desirable pieces. And I said, yeah. I said, I know who else who tells me that? He said, who? I said, Longines, Tag Heuer, Oris. I said, all you guys, run off the same playbook. I mean, in all fairness, he's like, well, yeah, that's true. And then he crunched little numbers, but still wasn't enough. But I mean, everyone knows. I just wish it wouldn't be so, like I said, condescending about it.
For what watch? For what watch?
I was looking at a GMT. It was in rough shape. It was a Rolex Explorer 2.
It was in the pre-owned section.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the authority to really discount on those. Those are was it a mom and pop or a corporate AD?
I believe they're owned. I think they're owned by private individual. But the discount on it, I think he only knocked like $100 off. Honestly, which not worth the time.
Yeah, I don't know how pre-owned is selling in ADs, but I think they're selling really well actually. So,
Well, they must be. Yeah.
it's tough. It all comes down to leverage, right? If you want the watch and they have the watch, and they think that there's someone else who will pay that price for it, then they have to be as polite as possible, but basically they don't have to discount.
Actually, I got a question for the panel. So, in short, here, my girls have offered me 1, 2, 3, 4. They've offered me 5 Tudors here in the past 3 months, and I've shot them down every single time. I mean, should I be buying that garbage? Should I be buying that garbage to make, to kind of keep the boat afloat, or?
This is a private, independent AD.
These are family owned. Yep.
Family owned. And they have a whole bunch of stuff: Tudor, Rolex, and Breitling.
No,
and...
the girls only have Tudor and Rolex, and their primary source of income is jewelry.
Wow, they only have Tudor and Rolex.
So it can, hypothetically, it can help you get Rolex.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yes.
it'll help you.
Yes.
Absolutely, it'll help you. So if you've been offered multiple watches, the Tudor is the entry into the relationship, and you keep turning it down, then I'm surprised they keep offering you, because a lot of times they would just give up on you and you get nothing.
Well, because they know I don't play no games either. I don't get on my knees like the rest of these soys,
Yeah, I mean, but there's something to be said for playing the game. So you buy the
I also
Tudor.
think they're a little bit pissed at me because I got lucky and bought 2 of my Rolexes right off the showroom floor. I don't think they like that.
At a different AD?
Nope, in their store.
From their store.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they not? When was that?
It's about a year, 2020. Yeah, 2020.
But why would they be upset if you purchased the Rolexes?
Because they don't like you being able to buy steel sports models without eating garbage first.
Well, but that was at a time where you had more leverage than they did. If they were sitting in the case, you could buy them.
Yeah, and they called me for the Milgauss, and I picked that up, of course. I snatched it. I mean, they know I shop around, too. They kind of openly said, yeah, we know you shop around, because, I respect what you do. OC, I respect it, but you know what? I'm not going to, I show no loyalties. If I want to buy an Omega, I'm going to buy an Omega. If I want to buy a sub, I'm going to buy a sub, I don't, like I said, I don't get on my knees, with all due respect.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, but at some point, like, okay, what's next on your list? What do you want next?
Honestly, all I want is the back roll. That's it, honestly.
Okay, so buy the Tudor, sell it and lose 1,000, and then you might have to buy 2 Tudors, but then you lose $2,000, but you buy the back roll at retail as your third.
That's the thing, though. See, I've already done this already. I bought a Black Bay 36 and dumped it the next day. So my concern is if I keep buying this garbage here, they're just going to keep feeding it to me.
No, but I think you want to be clear with your SAs that or the owner that, hey, the next watch that I expect to receive by X milestone, whether that be your birthday or for Christmas or whatever, would be the BLNR. And say,
okay, hey, but you use the word expect to him?
Yeah, I would say expect.
Expect.
Yeah, I would say.
I couldn't say that.
That's a bold choice of words there.
Yeah.
I don't want to pull a Cameron. I'm not going to say I want a Pepsi in less than 2 weeks. Otherwise, I'm going to make a scene up in this place. I'm going to play the race card.
No, I would just make it clear that what you really, really want is the BLNR. That's the watch that will complete your current collection on the Rolex side, and so you just want to be very transparent that I'm buying this because I care about my relationship with this store, and I'm gonna put it to good use and I'm gonna enjoy it. But I'm doing this as a sign of loyalty to the store. You're basically winking at them.
Yeah, and I've done this before when they offered me a Tudor Hydronaut. Fucking hell. And I basically straight up and said, I don't mean to come off inappropriately, but I said, if this is one of those deals where you need me to buy something, because it was end of the month for them. I said, if this is one of those things where you need me to buy it because it's the end of the month, yeah, I'll more than happily do it, but I expect something on the back end. Oh, well, but this isn't really one of those deals. And I said, well, I'll pass, but thank you.
Well, there you go. See, it sounds like you have a very open relationship with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's fairly open. It's like I said, they know I shop elsewhere, but at the same time, I just don't want to get in the loop where I buy one Tudor and then I buy another. It's just, I got nothing against Tudor realistically. I mean, I think they do make great watches, but they're just not for me right now in my collection.
So, if they get a lot of BLNRs, maybe you'll get offered, one. If they don't, then it'll be a tougher.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I see how people hesitate and hem and haw when I talk with them about vintage watches. I get turned off and put off in the same way when you guys start talking about all this shit.
Mhm.
Why? And I again, like, the main problem is I have like marginal interest in some contemporary watches. I think really SD43 is the only one. Maybe I would be interested in the two-tone model of that as well. That I'm really considering buying. And for me, it's not like I'm not gonna jump through any hoops. And I don't, unlike Big Meech, I have no dignity, no self-respect. It's not about like, oh, I won't bring them cookies or whatever. It's just
Krispy Kreme.
too much work,
Yeah.
that why would I?
Lord, for SD43, there's no work. Those are available, dude. You'll get it.
I mean, I think I will get it. It might be a 6, 8, 9 month wait, maybe 2 years. I'm not in a rush, so it will be okay. But at any rate, yeah, if it's going to, if it's really about me buying watches that I don't even want, that I don't want to even own or bother flipping, yeah, it's just that game is not for me. I would rather hunt for a specific vintage watch for the next 3 years than play those games. Like, it just doesn't, because that's a journey, right? I learn when I do that. I get to explore, handle all these different watches. Sometimes I make entire trips out of seeking examples of a given model. So it takes me around, and it teaches me something. Schmoozing with ADs and buying things I don't need from them, that doesn't teach me anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't improve me in any way. So I don't know.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear all the different way you guys think. You know what I mean?
I mean, again, if I were building a collection of contemporary Rolexes, then it would be a different game. Or if I had like, two collections, one vintage and one more contemporary, then it's a different thing. But for one or two watches at most, would I want to jump through all these hoops?
Yeah, it's funny, Lord, because the same enjoyment and satisfaction that you get from researching and obtaining the vintage pieces, I apply very similar satisfaction to the modern pieces. Like understanding the business of the individual ADs and SAs. So, for example, like Mathis, you were talking about Mayors. So one of the things I would do is I would talk to my SA at Mayors, and I say something like, "So it's April now. Like, are there any important?"
Oh wait, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You walk in there, explain it from the beginning. You just walk in there, or you call first, or text first.
Well, I'm in a unique position because my AD is literally like half a block from my office.
Okay.
So sometimes I do pop in and say hi, or I'll.
And you only talk to one lady or one guy.
Well, I know the whole staff there; they all know me, but will only buy from one person.
Okay.
And I might through the process of chit chatting, how are things going? So is April going well for you so far? That kind of thing. Maybe it's the middle of the month. By the way, are there any goals or initiatives that the team is asking of you? So basically, you're saying, okay, what can I do to help you? Right. Sometimes it's different brands. Like sometimes like IWC may be doing a promotion, and it's like, listen, we really want to push IWCs this month. or over the next 2 months or whatever. Or there may be a sales contest, like whoever sells the most Breitlings wins a prize or whatever.
Okay.
Or you go to a Bucherer and it's like, well, Bucher's maybe really pushing their own Karloff Bucherer brand, and they have a sales goal. Like, each salesperson, should try to sell at least one, Karloff Bucherer per month. And if you do that consistently for 6 months straight, you win you get $5,000 prize or whatever. So it's like all of these things go into building the relationship, and making your SA feel like you care about them as much as you want them to care about you.
I got you.
So it's like finding out what makes them tick. Just like their job is to find out what makes you tick. What watches do you like? What will get you to buy things? I do the reverse for them, and I find out what are the things that help them in their lives and their career.
And then you walk up to the lady and you say, "I expect you to get me this in 3 months."
No. And then it happened like at Christmas time. I say, "Hey, well, what are the next things that you want for 2022?"
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about them, and sometimes it changes. Sometimes it's like, okay, you know what, I do want the platinum Daytona, but you know what, if a rose gold Daytona comes in, that wouldn't be too bad either.
Well, I just did it today. I was just there today to check if what I had on the list, and it was blank. So to this new guy, I told him for both Explorers, and I was real nice about it, And then I also said, if you see anything else like a Milgauss or something, just call me. I'm around. I live right down the street. I said to him. So
sounds like flipping language to me.
I was
about to say the same thing. Ooh,
I said I just want one more. I said I just want like one more, and I think I'd be done, kind of thing.
Nope, that's also
Mathis. You know how many times I hear that in a day, though. I mean,
okay.
If I say I just need one more thing and I'm done, what you're basically saying is you won't be able to sell me 3 or 4 more watches over the next 5 years.
Yeah. But I don't think I'm looking for that. I think I'm 2 to 3 piece meal deal, and that's it.
Well, that would have been better to say. So listen, you know what? Here's how I see my collection progressing over the next few years.
I was nice. I spoke better than now,
I know.
I was very nice.
Were you wearing a black tank top or a white tank top?
No, I had a regular shirt on.
Oh, an actual shirt? Okay.
When I hung out with Sirocco, he had a tank top on.
Yeah, and he was telling us that, he didn't pack any wife beaters, actually. So that was a surprise. Well, I mean, not a surprise to me, but, based on what he said. Yeah, I didn't realize that Krispy Kreme was still a thing. I thought that the fad has passed, Ozzy. Right. Like by an actual shirt, you said, Mathis. You mean a T-shirt or like a collar?
A tank top is arms out.
No, what you wore to the AD.
Oh, a regular shirt, like you have, but a V-neck.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you guys really
nice
go all out.
Really? I mean, it's in a.
Well, I mean, I just show up in a T-shirt and like the soft shell jacket I typically wear. I mean, I don't get suited and booted. I get some people do, and I don't judge. I get it.
Well, they had a full display case there today.
I mean, honestly, Ozzy says, you know what they really want? A client that says they want to spend $1 million a year.
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind, having $1 million of disposable cash to spend on watches.
Yeah, Archie made a video saying you're not getting what you want unless you spend $1 million a year.
No, it's amazing.
He's probably not wrong.
Yeah, as you guys recall, I was in Las Vegas this week, and my brother was visiting with me, and I took the opportunity to walk into a few ADs with him, and I would pull the SA off to the side and say, by the way, he can afford to buy anything you guys have in here, just to drop the hint. Like, you know what? If you're smart and you actually get him something that he's interested in, you never know. You might be able to sell him a second or third watch, but right now he only wants one. But you plant that little seed that if you're a good salesperson,
Right.
maybe once someone gets their first Rolex, maybe they want another one. There's there's a way to suck them in. Good salespeople know how to do that.
And they didn't bite. None of them did.
Well, you have to wait. It's hard. You can't walk in. I mean, you can in some cases walk in and walk out same day with something, but it's a lot harder to do that than, especially now. Back in the day, you could do that 2 years ago.
But you said they offered you a Milgauss with a black dial. Your
Oh,
brother was interested in that.
No, my brother is interested in a root beer.
Two-tone.
Yeah. He's actually not interested in any Rolexes. I'm trying to convince him that he needs a Rolex, and he's like, "Oh, maybe I guess every man should have one Rolex."
Every man is to sports.
So
Well,
OC, sorry to keep going back to things, but you really think it was okay that at this AD, my name was not on the list for something?
Well,
no, I would leave him actually.
Why would this unknown guy, this guy you don't even know, you met for the first time? I mean, your name is not he doesn't know you.
Well, I'm sorry. I went and bought that Datejust, and then I asked for the next one to be an Explorer, and I came back a few weeks later, and when the guy checked me out on the list, there was nothing there. So then I.
But this is the same guy you bought your.
No, first it was this lady, and
exactly.
then it was a guy there.
Yeah,
but they're using the same laptop.
Yeah, but they're different SAs. They have different clients.
Okay.
You have to go back to the person. You have to go back to the person who sold you the Datejust.
Okay.
I will say this, Mathis. So if she indeed did not put your name down on the list, I just end the business relationship right there, because I had the same problem with my Cartier boutique. I wanted a tank and they didn't put my name down, so I said screw it. I said, you guys don't want the business that bad, I'll just go to another brand.
Right.
Well, no, but
if they don't have enough time for you, they just simply don't. They won't make the time for you.
I did whatever I did today, so we'll see how it goes.
It's really confusing having the prefix of Lord before Mathis. It really is.
Oh, that's out of respect.
But Mathis, you haven't
I'll fix it for you. OC. It will take.
Thank you.
A second. Look.
It can be Sir Mathis.
No. Actually, this is what
it's either going to be Big Mathis or the original Mathis. The only thing I'll change it to.
But you haven't been corresponding or texting with the SA who sold you the Datejust?
No phone or text, no. I did leave a review. She sent me a link to leave a review, and I left a review.
Okay, so you're her customer. Why would you? So if you need something, you go to her.
Right.
So listen, you need to get things straight, because you don't want the story getting back to her that you came in.
Okay.
Or does she already know that you were talking?
I don't think she saw me. I came in with a lady, so.
Jeez.
She put her name on for something.
This is where you go with cookies, man.
Break out the Krispy Kremes.
Break out the Krispy Kreme.
It's in no way the way I witnessed Tim do it.
So here's what you do. You have her number. Text her sometime this week. Just hey.
All right.
Thinking about you lately.
Can you text me something I could copy and paste to her?
Yeah, sure.
Dad.
Sure.
Or just give me like some kind of outline.
Sure. You have my Instagram. Message me on Instagram.
Okay. Simple. Something simple.
Yeah, Aussie expat has wise words again. You don't have a relationship with the store. Your relationship is with the person.
Okay.
I completely forgot that there are other people watching. I'm having a private conversation.
Sorry.
You like that, huh?
Yeah. When I see that orange thing and someone's writing my name, it's the funniest thing in the world. Somebody said, Mike the Snake super chatted $2 when I was doing the thing.
The guy
He
has
said,
this whole avatar with like.
yeah, he said, Matt, this looks like the head of Lord Mike the Snake. Oh man, I almost died. I was laughing so hard I had to go off screen.
Like
Oh,
the best
man.
part though, Matt, is it took you like a minute to figure it out too.
And I know that like my chick doesn't have this channel, so is not watching it, and Kim said something really stupid at the end of the thing. She got me in trouble, but it's all right. If you go, I can't say it, but if you go back, you'll see it.
God damn.
Because I had her like right here. She was like right here, or whatever.
Oh,
But
she's there now. You mean?
No.
Okay.
But nothing
I
like
will
what
admit,
happened.
Cam
Nothing
is a
like what
great
happened
guy.
to Tim tonight.
Oh, what happened to Tim?
She was
No,
getting
no,
yelled at,
Yeah,
but he's
let's
okay.
Not,
He's
let's
okay.
not talk about it here. I think
My mistake.
They're on it. They're on
No,
it.
my mistake. I brought it up.
Lord, was there
but-
an actual topic at the beginning of this stream?
Yes, there were a few topics, and we now have a question coming up, so we can address by saying that to pivot to Watch Talk. Chunkster, who has been a great supporter of this channel since the beginning, what non-Rolex watch is on the panel's list? Just curious. I'm waiting for the Omega Ultra Deep Manta version. I'll pull up that watch while you guys go through. Joe, do you want to start?
It's actually a good question. Non-Rolex watch. I'd have to say a Patek, which it seems, kind of funny as much as I shit on the brand. I'd say by the time I hit my 40s, when I'm in the Shady Oaks Retirement Center, I need somebody to, wipe my rear end. I'd say a Patek is probably in my near future at that point.
By your 40s.
Yeah, yep. It's all downhill from there at that point anyway, so may as well go out in style.
All right, I got 3 years and I'm
Look at
done then.
beautiful.
Hey guys, I gotta show you guys a picture. And it's perfect time for you to go you can put me back full screen for a second.
Okay.
This is like when the painting of Michelangelo touching whatever, like and the 16th chapel and all that. This picture is up there. This picture is up there with that.
Oh my!
I look at this every day.
It is like that though. It's like wow. This is like a painting, man. It's so well composed.
Historical document.
And this one.
The Pontiff and his best homage.
I love them.
It looks like a paparazzi shot.
What a fucking
It
legend,
is.
man. What a fucking legend. Love it. Love it. So you just any Patek Philippe, or did you have a particular model in mind, Lord Meach?
Clean and simple. A Calatrava. It's either gonna be a Calatrava of some type, or I might just buy World Time. Although it would kind of defeat the purpose since I won't be able to see anything at that point, anyways. But
Wonderful. I'm glad you still believe in a world where you actually use your watch to tell time. I like that sort of romanticism on this channel.
I gotta know what time bingo starts.
No, I understand. What about you, OC? What would be the next non-Rolex watch you would be looking at?
Audemars Piguet. Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak 15500.
Okay, 15500. That's relatively
Impossible. impossible for me to get.
Compared to a jumbo, I guess it's still in the realm of possible. No.
Yeah, I would prefer the jumbo with the ice blue dial. That is a stunner. But
Can you pull up a picture of that?
Yes. So let's pull
for
first.
beginner Mathis.
AP
15.
it's actually the same exact watch that Tim is on the list, the imaginary list for.
And you want the white dial as well, or you have
Yeah.
a particular color choice?
It's called silver, but it looks silver and white. It's AP 15500 silver dial.
Yeah, so this is the same model with that famous blue dial, but let's see if I
engine turn tapisserie or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think they have a very particular way of
Yeah,
doing
their website is really annoying.
I know.
When
Not
you
my
get this,
own.
when
They
you
show
get
you
this,
everything, but you'll find it.
Go ahead, Mathis. Yeah.
sorry. When you get this OC, are you getting rid of anything, or would you just keep this?
I think I'm gonna have to find one or two things to say goodbye to. The hard part is my collection's very heavily Rolex, and no one has ever sold a Rolex and not ended up regretting it later. So it's really difficult because you can't keep investing. You can't keep adding forever. This thing, my idea for this one is I've seen some people actually take it off the bracelet and put like a white rubber on it, like AP. Yeah, I know.
Not with this watch.
Yeah, I know.
Not with this watch. You don't do that.
I just think so many people have this, and the bracelet is great. I get it, but I would just love to have this in like.
Unless you're Lord and you know how to pick the perfect strap for it.
No. I think I understand what OC means because, look, to me too, it's the bracelet, that conveyor belt industrial look. That's one of my favorite aspects of this watch, and if there are about two more designs that I like outside of the realm of Rolex, and one is, as you all know, JLC Reverso, and the other one is the Royal Oak. So I know, but I also understand, that once every so often it is your watch. Pop out the bracelet, put something else on, and style it the way you want. Wear it, enjoy it. That's the most important thing about it.
They have an AP rubber bracelet that goes in a special end link, I think, that you buy with this to convert it into a like a Royal Oak with rubber. I think I just to be different. I think it would look sexy, but no other non Rolexes would I ever. I mean, I'm not even the Speedmaster. I can't. The collection's too big enough already with watches that I can't get around to wearing.
Oh, the expert. Welcome to the channel, man. So nice to see you.
No hard feelings, OC?
No, none at all. I mean, none at all. But you were having a go at me. I forgot what the topic was. Was it Tudor? Or
yeah, I don't understand your hate for people wanting to buy something that they like. I don't see the problem. I just don't see the problem.
No, but I think like the Black Bay 41 has been out for years and no one's buying it. And the reason why they don't buy it is because the proportions are weird. And then, you add a yellow GMT hand to it, but it's basically the same case. And then all of a sudden, people
you were
are
also
like,
bad mouthing the 58. You were saying it's a dog and whatnot.
"Well,
and
it
a lot of
is.
people are very happy with that.
It is.
Hey,
It-
look, your platinum day date. They couldn't offload them about 6 months ago.
True.
They were trash. So your platinum day date has been trash for generations, while a Black Bay 58 is still popping in and out of the case. Like I went to my AD the other day, there were no Black Bay 58s on bracelets.
Yeah, they're in the back. They got them.
Yeah, but that's like all Rolex, so that's distinction without a difference.
I'm glad you give it to me as much as I give it, Aussie expat. So totally fine with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I want to hear people's opinions rather than the David SW over MSRP equation, you know.
Yeah, it's a good looking watch, no doubt about it. But the Black Bay Pro is not the 58.
Yes, you're correct. It's a slight disappointment. I think they have done okay to make the thickness less apparent. It would have been better if they had a movement that allowed it to fit inside of a true 58 size case.
I mean, if they want to keep Black Bay 58 sales going, why don't they give it a better clasp? Like that doesn't like why don't they give it the glide lock and a new color?
They should have a date function.
I don't know. I think that's most people already have a Black Bay 58 that want one.
Yeah,
and,
but that's like look at the Seamaster Diver 300M. You know, they added the white after the first year. Now they're adding a green. Listen, you never know what color is gonna spark someone to make a purchase that they hesitated on making before.
Sure. I mean that's very much Rolex's playbook, right? I really like that Tudor's doing weirder stuff. Like everyone wanted Black Bay 58 GMT, and here we go, Explorer 2 homage instead. And everyone's saying Ranger, so it's like a blend between the two, you know. It's surprising us. It should be good that they surprise us, as opposed to saying like, oh, here's the small issue that will sort of skewer this entire watch on, and anyone who buys it is an idiot because they're ignoring that it's thick or something like that. When
okay.
it's
I'm playing. I'm playing a role a little bit, Aussie expat. I'm adding a little bit of heated devil's advocate.
Yeah, OC tears people up all day. So don't.
I love that Ozzy is none too pleased. You know, he's like, okay, whatever.
I'm just sick of I don't know, like it's hard. Like the reason it hurts is because I have my own internal struggles about buying sheep level watches. You know,
yeah,
my collection is just the hot steel sports. Like who gives a shit? This is great,
right. And so my advice would be don't go down to the Tudor level. You know, it's a mistake.
No, look, I genuinely like the Tudors. I really do. I genuinely like them. And as you were pointing out to Mathis earlier, sometimes you have to buy the stuff that the SAs need a little help offloading. And sometimes it coincides to be a watch you actually like. And I think that works out to be really good value in the end.
Hey, my friend. I'm always, every single time they have a release, and every single time I go to the AD, when I see Tudors, I'm always just one step away from getting them. You know, I start nitpicking at some point, but I actually love that brand, and I really think that they fill a very important role in the market. Like one of my best watch memories, actually. Oh wow!
Don't terrorize the kid. Jeez. You have nightmares.
Cool,
Because it's the shark.
Yeah,
It's just a pillow. It's just a pillow.
A pillow that will bite your arm off.
Yeah, one of my best watch memories is actually when a friend of mine saw my sub and said, "Is that a Tudor?" And I was like,
Mhm.
Yeah, they must have gotten something right to someone who knows half a thing or two about watches to catch that reference. To me, that was beautiful.
Mhm.
It means that Tudor has been fulfilling its purpose so far since the revival about 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I can genuinely enjoy the Tudors without thinking, am I just a sheep or something like that? I got the Pelagos when it was just sitting in the case, and now it's very hard to get the blue Pelagos or whatever. Maybe OC it's different in your AD, but like it doesn't. I'm more happy with the purchase when I know I wasn't influenced by the fact that it's worth money.
But do you have your name on lists at that place for Rolexes or no?
There's no such thing as a list. Like as soon as if an SA is talking to me and they start saying, "Oh, you're on the wait list" or something like that, I just hear, "I don't give a fuck about you. Get the fuck out of my store." If they start talking about a list, you're fucked.
Do you have people there with things in mind for you or no?
No, but
Okay.
that's because they don't remember very well,
Okay.
and it upsets me. It's like I
I
told you
understand.
last 3 times, Explorer 2, Polar. That's what I want. So you got to be in top of mind. There is no list. There might be a physical card or an actual book or something on the
Mhm.
computer. It doesn't matter. You have to be in their head when that allocation comes into that person.
So
Correct.
how about this oddball question? I'm sure we'll come back to Rolex and Tudor in no time. Casey asks, panel, if you could have only one, Cartier Santos or Reverso?
Who's
Reverso
first?
or Santos? What do you think?
I'll go. For me, hands down, it'll be the Cartier Santos. I think overall, I really like the watch. And as a brand, Cartier are just killing it. I spent like about an hour today talking to my wife about the Watch and Wonders releases for Cartier. Very painful price points to get some of their Preve collection, that skeletonized tank, as an example, that Chinois, I think it's called. Very beautiful watch. I love the Santos and I love the brand. I don't think I can afford anything other than the Santos from them. It's just too pricey, and I know that they're dogs on secondhand.
That's Tank Chinoise, the one that they did with the Chinese character design on the dial. Let's pull that up. That was
It's incredible.
unique design. And Wristwatch Holic and I on Friday were talking. All 4 of us, in fact, were talking about the limited edition Santos Dumont they're doing with the in rose gold and platinum, and he wants to get one of the platinum ones. So this is the Tank Chinoise they did.
I love the bars across the top. It sort of adds a masculinity that sort of the more common tanks are sort of lacking, and then the brushed gold lends it back, and then you've got this beautiful timepiece, skeletonized and visible from both sides. You can see through it. It's super cool.
Yeah, it's a very unique design, even in the realm of tanks, which have different executions, but this is very special.
Do they have a shot of the reverse side? On the Cartier website, they show the reverse side as well. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So just imagine this inside the frame still. I don't know why they picture this outside the case, but yeah, the bridges and stuff to make that design work. It's so cool. It's not just skeletonized; it's still part of a design. It's very pleasing.
And it's I think they are limited, of course, to what exactly? I think 150 pieces each. It says. Do you know the price point at all, Ozzy?
Wow, I had no idea they were limited. I hadn't seen this Hodinkee article.
Okay.
I think they're skeletonized. Santos is in like the 57,000 range. I can only imagine this shoots it straight up into the 6-figure range.
The one that Wristwatcholic was talking about is the new release of Santos Dumont in large size, limited edition. He was interested in the rose gold. Let's see if we can find.
Yeah, Cartier, like OC, we've probably breached on this topic before, but there's a different value proposition laying down $40,000 for something that's worth something on paper versus laying down even $10,000 for a dog, right? Like I'm not absent of your thinking here. I just want to highlight that the more painful move is the one that loses 5,000 rather than the one that gains 50,000 but stashes away 50,000 in, you know, of your savings away.
Yep.
Yeah, and this will be limited to 250 pieces in gold, and I think 13.5 in US dollars, the list price, boutique exclusive.
Oh, it's an exclusive.
Yeah,
Wow.
no discount probably, but this is the watch that Wristwatcholic wants.
Man, why are they such teasers?
It's a hand-wound mechanical movement too, so it's a beautiful, beautiful piece.
Love that maroon. That maroon's made out of all these are made out of platinum or solid gold, right?
Yeah,
They
no
will
steel.
they will have a more
Not a
accessible
steel?
model, but that's not limited edition. Not that one should, you know, frown upon that, but yeah, they will have still a boutique exclusive steel one that's like $6,000, I think, with again large size mechanical hand wound movement. I think in either case it's great, but that particular dial design they have is wonderful. I mean, look, the reason I didn't jump on first is, I guess, from what I was showing already and what I already own, everyone knows I'm a huge fan of Reverso as a case design. I feel like, you know, at times when I wear that watch, I feel I can, you know, basically, except for perhaps my Submariner, I could get rid of everything else and build an entire collection from scratch. Just, you know, getting Reversos with different metals, different complications. I feel they're very, very unique and quite an experience to wear. The only thing is, of course, if you really are looking for a watch on a steel bracelet and not even necessarily a pure sports watch, I don't like the bracelet. They have the whole rice beads design they have. I how it wears. I never like looks on that particular watch. So yeah, that would be a problem. But otherwise, I can see where I have my sub and then an entire collection of just Reversos, you know, like a triple date. You know, I have my ground dates, you know, something in precious metal. I just like that design. I think it's very unique. And as much as people call it a cheap party trick to flip it around, it's a joy. It's like working like, you know, it's like loading a shotgun or something. You know, it's that click is so satisfying. Hard to explain it in any other way.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm just not very well connected to JLCs. There's a boutique in Vegas that I've visited, and it just it doesn't speak to me that much.
Yeah, what do you think, Methods, between the Santos and Reverso? What would you like to own?
Well, I'm not an expert on either of them.
That's
So,
okay.
to me, the Cartier is more of a steel sports. It looks so.
Yeah.
I would get the other one, and that would be my dress watch. The flip over.
Right. So
You
you
know?
would kind of want to have both, but Santos would be your priority, basically. Right?
No, I would get the I'm sorry. I would get the Reverso. That would be
Hmm.
my dress watch.
As a complement to your collection, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If I could pick either one for free right now of equal value, I'll take the Reverso.
Actually, I mean, they are kind of comparable in terms of the market value. You can say that. I mean, for the Cartier, so this is, for example, the beautiful watch that Joe
I
has.
do like that. I do like that a lot. Big Meat, you got that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That is real nice. I was looking at
See,
those today at the Mayor's.
OC, I remember my AD and I spotted some guy walking with the stands large and white, and I kind of felt that that's more of a flex than having a sub,
Oh, really?
because you're losing money on anything, anything Cartier, not a huge amount at the moment with Santos, but, and I mean, like, to choose that because you like it, wearing it more than any Rolex right now.
Are you saying it was a flex or the flex?
No, it's more of a flex. Like, I'm more jealous of that watch than say my Submariner or something like that, because the Submariner is an easy choice, while the Santos I love. It's just I'm gonna have to find some good reasons to get it, because it's gonna hurt a little bit more than on the sheets of paper at the end of the day.
Okay, well, I'm glad you could choose the color, because that Band-Aid color calf skin strap got awful. But yeah, on this navy blue, it looks much better. You look, I mean, Aussie, you're right in a way, because especially for non-watch people, anything that's not a round case is much more eye-catching. Especially with designs like the Santos and Reverso, and even like the Royal Oak, where you have these interesting bezels and contours and shapes going on. People are much more easily attracted to them, intrigued by them, than any other, round steel sports watch. So it is a kind of flex. It does. It does catch a different kind of attention. I get that sometimes with the Reverso.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it, the Rolex look has been mimicked 1,000 times over. I'm trying to help a friend buy his very first luxury watch, and I've sort of pushed him to actually look and expand his pocketbook, because he was starting off in the $5,000 range. And I said that your options are extremely limited at that. Unfortunately, it sounds stupid, but 5,000 actually isn't a lot. But he started gravitating towards a Submariner, and I said, that's really good that you like that look, because guess what? There's about a dozen watches that replicate that look, and you may not have to fight for that price or whatever. I think he's going to end up, paying second prices to get something that he genuinely wants, probably the Rolex. But the reality is that the Santos is more distinct, and it probably would be commented on more than a real sub. I've never gotten a single comment on any of my Rolexes ever, and same with my wife. But she did get a lot of comments on her gold Seiko prior to that, because it was a little bit more masculine and distinctive.
What do you think, OC? What Baron OC? What will be your choice between the Santos and the Reverso?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a different one, difficult decision, because on one hand, the JLC is such an iconic brand among watch enthusiasts. It's the watchmaker's watchmaker. The Reverso is such an iconic design. It's a great dress watch. But and the same can be said for Cartier. Iconic look of the Roman numeral dial. It's instantly recognizable. Either the square or the rectangular shape of it. I think Cartier has broader appeal among the mass market. I think more people would recognize the Cartier as a luxury jewelry watch than than the JLC, and I think the Cartier also has more flexibility from a bracelet perspective, which you brought up earlier, that the JLC really doesn't look good on a steel bracelet. It's not designed for that, so you're limited really to like leather alligator options. And the Santos has really they've done a good job designing it for rubber, steel, and leather, so you have a lot more flexibility there. So all said and done, I think it's the Cartier for me.
Yeah.
I also think it's got a 100-meter water resistance on the Santos. I don't know what JLCs typically have, the Reversos.
Yeah, but the Santos doesn't have a screw-in crown, so it's kind of all for nothing.
What does that mean?
It means that I personally, I wouldn't trust. If it doesn't have a screw-in crown, I wouldn't put it in water. It's like the Speedmaster, a Gremlin. You don't get it wet.
I think Reversos are basically 30 meters, 3 bars. That's what it is. So it's like, I mean, I understand the Santos too. You wouldn't want to immerse in water, but honestly, when I'm wearing the Reverso, if I'm at home, I don't even wash the dishes with it. So I just take it off, because also it has a leather band, etc. So it's not something that you want to even get near the pool or take to the beach in any way. And also because Reverso is also even in steel, it's a high polish watch. That's the look, right? So as OCD as this would strike some people, I'm not ashamed to admit, like, just like I have like a little cloth to clean my sunglasses, when I wear sunglasses, same thing. I have a little piece of cloth in my pocket whenever I wear the Reverso, because I feel, midday, I have all the, smudges from my fingers and, like, a little bit of smudge here and there. So I just clean it, and it gets that perfect look again, which is something I never do with any of my Rolexes. So it's really, it might have a sporting heritage, and it can have sporty aspects to it. You can combine it with a lot of different things. A Reverso cannot be experienced as a sports watch in year 2022. You just have so many better options.
Well summarized.
At least since 1991, they have been bringing us these beautiful complications. I mean, look at this perpetual calendar Reverso, for example, in rose gold.
Yeah, I'd wear that to a wedding. It's like, any dress function. It's perfect.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Yep. Gents, have an excellent evening or a great day, depending on where you are. And see you tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us, OC.
Have a good night, OC.
For being here. I really appreciate you, man.
Pleasure.
Take care. So what about you, Mitch? What would you choose between? You have both, so you are in many ways the perfect person to ask. If you were to be allowed to only keep one, which one would you keep?
Yeah, it's a very interesting one, and I've been thinking on it because I've come a long ways with Reverso. I hated it from the start, but you know what? I don't wear it very often either. But when I do wear it, I'm glad I have it. I truly am glad I have it. It completes a look, especially when you're wearing a suit. It completes the look very much. It's very, like you said, one trick pony with the flipping around.
Oh, pun intended.
I remember when because I remember when I took it. Took it to my girls at the Rolex boutique, and they, that was the first time they've ever seen one, and they kind of geeked out at the whole thing, Funny enough, though, I find myself reaching for the Cartier every time when going out, even when suited and booted. I don't know what it is about the Cartier. I mean, call me shallow and pedantic. I mean, everyone knows that already. But the Cartier just brings in the ladies. And I'm not just talking about the clubs or whatever.
Really?
I've gotten more noticed. I've gotten noticed more by women in public. At the DMV office, I had there was a lady who was filling out paperwork for me, and she kept looking at it. She said, "Excuse me, sir, is that a Cartier?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, I love their jewelry line. I love their perfumes and stuff like that." And I remember when I first took it into my Rolex boutique, I had them drop one of the pins out, and my sales rep, she came running around the corner. She said, "I wish all your watches were like this. This is so much better than Rolex." She said we always enjoy seeing that Cartier. So honestly, if I had to go between the two, I'd go Cartier. It's the perfect watch. It's the perfect dress watch. I mean, I know I said the JLC is a perfect dress watch, one and done, and I still believe that if you want to go officially formal, old school dress watch, buy a JLC. But if you want a modern dress watch, I think the Cartier does it perfectly. I think Theo and Harris said it best. There's a Cartier out there for everyone. And I'd choose Cartier 100%.
You sold it to me, Meech.
Well said. Well said. And Lord was very well said too. Everybody. So
Yeah, look,
And-
I mean,
I don't know what to choose.
I did suspect that the Santos catches more people's eye, like that it's more distinctive, that they would be more willing to reach out and actually give you a compliment, to that more people would actually pay attention, because it's not just replicated 50 million times over like the Submariner Rolex look.
yeah. I mean, it has to, it has to sing to you, whatever watch it is. I think, both of them are very unique, have their own heritage. But you have to admit that the Santos is just more diverse, more
blingy. It's more blingy.
It is more blingy, but also
But it is mostly brushed as well. Like the bracelet is
It's,
brushed.
I think it straddles the two genres much better than Reverso does. I mean, it can be a very distinct sports watch, whether it's on its full steel bracelet or maybe even on a rubber strap. I think do they make a rubber strap for it?
DLC one does.
Technically, by official standards, I don't believe they do, but I'm pretty sure you
the
can get one from
DLC
Deluxe.
The DLC Santos does have a rubber strap, so it wouldn't surprise
Yeah.
me if you could grab that one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yours.
That's right.
Hunter
My
Mike.
mistake.
In either case, I mean, again, just as an aesthetic, not necessarily, you still don't want to immerse it in water in any way, but as an aesthetic, I think it would go really well with that. It just fulfills your expectations from that genre so much better than the Reverso at 2022. But then again, for me, in my collection, I have the best for that genre, which is sub, no date, nothing much on the dial, just 2 lines of writing. I'm good. I have that watch. So for me, the dressier genre, which for me is very important to cover in how I put together myself, the Reverso is great. I love it. And I've never, I mean, Thomas brings it up. There was the Reverso Transport, there was the Squadra, which is more square shaped than rectangular. All these sportier or more modern sportier models they tried to bring out from Reverso. None of them clicked with me necessarily. And I've always been also kind of underwhelmed by the Polaris as well, like the whole divers watches that JLC has. So for me, again, in the 21st century, they don't strike me as a sports watch brand. So for that, I have to concede, as a general choice, the Santos, of course, is just much more versatile.
Well
I
said.
agree. It's a steel stunner.
It is.
You touched upon the subject where I brought up the water resistance of the Santos, and that is water resistance ratings. And I thought that was interesting because I consider 30 nothing, 50 close to nothing, but maybe splash proof, depending on the brand. I'll tell you which brand in a second. And then 100 meters is probably good for swimming, and I expect that from any brand, but I'm hearing there's caveats there that you guys have. And then 200 is probably good for swimming full stop, and then maybe diving too. So maybe let's start at the bottom. Does everyone agree? So for 0, you don't want that anyway, right? Everyone agree on that?
Yeah,
0, 0.
Yeah, you want 3 bars from just any watch whatsoever. I mean, you should be okay. It might not be ideal, but because when you have something on leather band, maybe you don't want to wear it in a downpour either. But you shouldn't have to worry so much about it. So you have to have at least 30 meters, 50 meters for any watch. It should be just that well sealed.
Yeah. For 30, I think I'm willing to put it through cleaning under a running tap. Not for long, just to rinse it off and then immediately go to, washcloth and stuff like that. What do you guys think? Cleaning on 30.
I got distracted. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
That's all right. What are you willing to put a 30-meter water resistance watch through? Like for me, I'm willing to occasionally put it through when it needs cleaning, just a rinse under the tap, and then
I'm not going. I'm not going in the jacuzzi or taking a shower in it.
No, just like yeah, I said just
Take
under
it
the
off
tap
if I have
quickly.
to do anything. If it's raining real hard, maybe I'll leave it in my car. I don't know. But which watch is 30M?
Reverso. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a
Well, if I'm
Reverso
wearing
or
a
the
dress
tank.
watch, if I was wearing a dress watch like that, I'm not going to take a shower with it anyway. So
No,
I
but would
wouldn't
you
be too
clean it with
worried.
water?
I wouldn't be worried though. Sorry, go ahead.
Would you clean it with water?
I don't think so. No.
What do you do, Lord?
I usually I'm a little finicky with cleaning because a lot of the stuff I have is vintage. I do get the gaskets checked on a regular basis, but then again, a lot of times I just disassemble it and I use like a cotton swab, which I get wet, and then I get into the nitty gritty and clean it that way rather than running water on it. Maybe it's a little too precious, but the cleaning I do that way, and when I wear them, I don't give 2 fucks. I have so many scratches and dings by now on some of my watches that I stopped caring about that. But I just don't want the dials to get ruined, for example.
Right.
Want the movement to start rotting, in any way. I don't want any sort of humidity to get in there. And still we are talking about oyster cases, right, with nice screw down crowns. So they should be, when they are well sealed, they should not let in any humidity or water. Nevertheless, I'm being extra cautious usually.
Yeah. I tend to like to have some sort of running medium for when I'm cleaning things, because here in Vegas, it's very likely that dust isn't just dust and it's actually sand, which will just scratch the crap out of anything if you didn't knock it off physically with either water or compressed air. So I have like a lot of guns, and then they have optics, which are very expensive. I never take a cleaning cloth to any of them before I've used an air compressor to knock off any of the sand. I'm wondering if I should switch from water to air for the same purpose. But anyway, the next level up is 50 meters, and I think there isn't too much of a distinction from most, except a few more people would be more comfortable running water, but that's certainly not swimming still. What's interesting about the Omega 3861, the new one, is it remains 50 meters, but it's actually a METAS tested 50 meters.
Which means what in that case?
I had to look it up. So you might be familiar with the METAS certification. So it's certification that's applied to a cased movement. So we're talking about completed watches effectively. And then they go through a battery of tests. One of them, more famously, is the magnetic resistance. Then it goes through sets of timing tests in different positions, its accuracy. And the other test is its water resistance. And it's a test where they submerge it and apply a pressure to its simulated depth. And then when they take it out, they heat it up to, I think, like 50 degrees Celsius or something. And so that if there's any condensation that forms inside, and then they drop like a drop of like ice water on the crystal, and if any condensation forms, then it's failed its test. So it's gone through an actual cased test before it arrives at the customer. So for that purpose, the Speedmaster doesn't have a screw down crown, but I am okay running it under some water while I clean it. I am not comfortable wearing it in the shower or swimming, although I've had a commenter in chat when I brought this issue up say, why don't you think Omega is telling lies, or that they don't trust what they've made or given you? You don't trust Omega, these sorts of things. I'm not sure if I'm being overly cautious by saying 50-meter rating is not good for swimming.
Yeah. I mean, look, I mean, I have on special occasions, right, when it is actually a meaningful swim. I had my sub pressure tested, gaskets checked, serviced, and took it and actually swam with it. But usually, these days, especially when I just casually go to a pool or to a hot tub or, to the beach, I just take one of my Seikos. It's just why risk it? Also because, sometimes, you leave things unattended by the beach, by the pool. And if you ever take off your watch for whatever reason, you won't really cry too much about it. I think I'm the kind of person who would whine even about one of my Seikos for weeks on end. Trust me on that. But it's not as bad as losing a vintage Submariners.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just going through reading it. Yeah, so I personally have swam with my sub, but I tend to like my Pelagos for that more. One that's my most water resistant. It's the one that's meant to be in water more than any other. But yeah, I don't know. The main area where my Rolexes will meet water the most is when I'm traveling, and that is because I have a rule when traveling is the watch does not come off until I get back home, because the opportunities for you to lose your watch, and who knows what, you leave it back in the hotel room and you get out to your meetings or whatever, and you say, oh, I forgot to put my watch on this morning, because it's completely out of routine and stuff like that. Or even as something as simple, I've taken it off and I've put it on the bathroom vanity basin, and then I reach for a towel and I've pulled my watch off and it lands on the tiles. There's just a whole bunch of things that I do not have to worry about if I just keep the watch on my wrist, which also means having a shower with it. For the most part, that's good, except my last trip, the soap that the hotel provided just put so much soap scum on the damn watch. It was terrible. I don't have the problem at home when I happen to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was just awful. I went through multiple cleans. I'm like, I'm having to rub this thing pretty hard, even with detergent, to get the damn soap scum off.
Was it the soap that's like a permanent thing installed on the wall that they refill?
No,
Or did they give you a little pack?
It
fresh
was a
packets?
little bar of soap.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was nice, but my gosh, the amount of soap that was on the watch was unreal.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then for like 200 and above, you're probably being very paranoid if you don't think you can take that anywhere, right? Unless it's older, of course. But Meech, you seem to
By the
imply you don't
way,
trust water
guys-
resistance if it doesn't have a screw down crown.
What
Yeah,
if
no,
it-
it seems unorthodox. It seems unnatural. Like, I don't know. Because in my head, if you don't have a screw down crown, it to me, it seems like there's a gap there, a wide enough gap, that even if you sweat in the damn thing, you'll fuck your movement up. I just don't trust it. I don't trust it. If it doesn't have a screw-in crown, I'm very cautious.
What do you think about the waterproofness on this? It's a 1999.
Probably
I
not.
just got it and
know.
I haven't had it checked.
Well, I would test it. I would pressure test it.
You just take it to a store to have it. Where do you take it for that? Just any jeweler?
Back to
jeweler
where you
for
bought
that.
it from. They should be able to do it.
Okay. That is one thing I didn't ask about.
Yeah. This, by the way, this guy would have been 98 years old if he were alive today. It's Marlon Brando's birthday today. And
Happy birthday.
this is the famous Rolex GMT Master he wore in Apocalypse Now. And people have theorized.
Missing? Is that what's
Yeah.
happened here?
People have theorized about it. You know, some say that he just didn't want it to be recognizable as a Rolex watch, and he just popped the bezel insert off. And some have really thought and read well into it, saying that it kind of reflected Kurtz as a character, in the sense that he lost his connection to the GMT time, right? To the imperial sort of
Yeah.
and he
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of started doing his own thing. So that's the missing rotating bezel
Yeah.
symbolizes that. I like to go with that reading, but I think this is a very, very cool watch. The way he wears it on that unique rubber bracelet, actually, it kind of looks like lizard skin, but it's actually a rubber band. It's a very unique watch. That's what he wore in Apocalypse Now.
Dang.
Wow, interesting. What was the other watch that Seiko's been getting a lot of love for? The Willard.
Yeah, Captain
Captain
Willard.
Willard. Yeah.
Yeah, I will bring that up as well. That's the unique Seiko case design, of course. Kind of a cushion / turtle kind of thing.
Ozzy, I will say this though. I do, as contradictory as I am about myself, I do actually wash my Speedmaster quite frequently underneath running water to wash it off and clean it up. Even I had to apply a little bit of soap to clean it up. And so far, so good.
And what do you use? Just your hands or like a little rag?
I use just my hands. It doesn't matter what. I mean, just my hands to clean it, and then I just use a soft cloth to dry it up.
Okay.
And let's see if we can find any shots in the movie.
You see, I wasn't into watches all the times I've seen this movie, so it's something I never thought about.
Got a new watch coming in. I just purchased it here.
Oh, shit.
I would love
Yeah?
a Captain Willard, but it's too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with my King Turtle, which is a similar design, of course. Yeah, I just love love that watch. I love my Seikos, man. I know people, the Pontiff isn't really on board with it, and
His
people give us
Alpinist video is my favorite.
his Alpinist.
Alpinist video.
And
is
you
my
know
favorite.
why, right? You know where all of that stems as well.
No, I just thought he genuinely thinks it's ugly, and it is ugly, but it
Well,
doesn't prevent you from loving it.
Alpinist, I think, is a god ugly watch, and I hate it. But usually, when the Pontiff rails on something beyond his personal preferences and taste and his knowledge, there's usually a very personal and petty aspect to it. So in that case, it's because he was beefing with. It's because he
With someone that has one.
TGV was being a rat. I mean, Tristan was being a rat, and he had to hate Seikos too because Tristana was spruiking Seikos at the time, especially.
Okay.
So.
Oh man, you know how many people's minds he changed like with that video, probably just because he got in a fight with somebody. That's why he's the legend. That's why he's the ultimate.
Yeah, man. If you can influence people's opinion just because you are trying to be petty, that's a talent.
When he made a video not that long ago saying how you have to spend $1 million at a store to get on the list for anything you want. I was freaked out after I saw that video. I almost gave up.
Well, that's when I came on the scene. I needed to get in front of Archie's face as best as I could in terms of like, and that's how he now mentions Krispy Kremes and all his David SW ad inserts. Is because he at that point, I think he started believing his own shtick that all ADs are complete nonsense and so forth. And the reality is that on average he's right, but there are stories and he's just ignoring them, including So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I love it, man. This is the original Captain Willard. I think the model number is 6105.
I just don't love it enough to pay over $1,000 for it. I like it. If I didn't have another Seiko diver, I'd fork out for it. And it's just a lot of money. It's cool though.
I think he either has or had a Captain Willard.
Who did?
This Jerez.
This Jerez.
If you don't know who this is, it can't be explained. If you didn't experience him, it's hard to explain.
So this is the
He had his own
ugly,
channel. Yeah.
ugly,
Yeah.
as attractive as a dog shitting on your
Yuck.
floor watch. Look at these two crowns here. That's cool. That's very cool.
I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be a little comical, but I'm genuinely, I'm a member of a cult, man. I'm brainwashed. I'm programmed to hate that watch, so I can't see anything good. I love you, Aussie. It's not gonna happen.
No, but the thing is, Archie is right, but it in no way prevents someone from loving the watch. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's true. Like, make up your fucking mind. What what's happening here with the indices? Like every second one's Arabics, but not all of them. And there's like multiple different font styles. Like I think these 3 lines here, not a single line shares the same font.
And why are like usually when the hands are skeletonized, there's a reason for it. Why are those hands skeletonized at the stem? Like why? What's the reason?
Yeah, there's no complication there. I know. Yeah, and
the internal bezel is very problematic to me.
because OCD, the N has to be up top. or some. So I got to move it to like
Round, second
this position.
round,
Is that
forward.
good now? Is this
No.
perfect? It's a test. The watch is a test. You put it on and you have to you got to bite your lip.
Look, I mean, I have to say with that, I think there was at some point a limited edition of some sort that had like a slate gray, ice blue type of dial. That looked a little more tolerable. The green one, I genuinely, it's just, I can't. I can't.
Well, I gotta go, boys. I gotta pass out.
Hey, Mathis, thank you so
Nice
much
having you.
for
Thank
jumping
you.
on.
Thank you for having me,
Thanks.
Lord. Nice to meet you, Lord Expat, and have a good night, Lord Meech.
Sure.
Take
Thank
care.
you, Mathis.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for sharing your mistakes.
I'll be listening from bed until I pass out.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, yeah. Have a good night.
Good luck.
I always do. Take care.
I love that. I see. It's like that sounds like flipper talk. It's like I just need one more watch. It's like everything he said was just salt, basically, to an SA's ears. It's like, oh, okay, you're happy with any watch, huh? And this is the last one, huh? Okay. So if I do you a favor, there's nothing coming my way after that. Okay, good to know. But I like this because it has a lot of Explorer vibes, and it suits a similar purpose for me in terms of it's a less blingy watch than any of my Rolexes,
Sure.
except for the Explorer. And it's a little bit classy. It's still a quality watch. Like the movement in it is a lot better than my SKX. And it's just a little bit more versatile, and it isn't a ridiculously oversized watch like most Seikos are, where this is 38 millimeters. So it's a tasteful watch, and that's actually not that easy to get, to be honest. Like getting watches that are in a tasteful size these days, even in say Rolex's catalog, which is moving more and more towards more traditional sizing, a little bit less than the super maxi case.
Dear Pontiff, forgive me this shitter, but yeah, this is an okay one, for example. It's limited.
This got bumped up to I think 40 millimeters though, I think.
Yeah,
I believe he's right. Yeah.
like that's
The
not
great
that's
thing
not
is these things are just as good as Grand Seikos. I mean, they're essentially the same thing as a Grand Seiko. So
I mean, this just doesn't look as intolerably ugly as the one that Aussie just showed. This you can kind of live with this watch. This is okay. Like without the dog shit green, it looks tall.
I really don't like this model. I think that it's removing the quirkiness. Like putting the Prospex logo on there is like really not an attractive addition. It's sort of like here's the mandatory company mandate thing that had to be on the dial, and then I don't know, they felt a little bit self-conscious, so they had to go up in size. I don't know. None of it seems like the right direction for me. But you know what? You're allowed to love it. It's cool.
I don't love it.
No, but you do. We're just disagreeing about which alpinist you want. This one's the shitter. You just want and desire the stuff.
If I watch enough urban, 15-minute urban gentry videos, I might be convinced.
Did Urban Gentry do a video on the Alpinist?
Oh, fuck. He did like a dozen, I think.
Oh, okay. I was not aware.
It was his favorite watch at some point.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
I have to look that up. You're gonna cause me to hate one of my most beloved watches, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I can help you in some way, it would be my pleasure.
It's like rehab, except for watches. Lord's trying to bring you to the light.
Yeah, let's see. This is what Al was saying. How about this one?
It did
SJE
have one.
85. This is a big watch, apparently, or it's. Yo,
Look at that price tag. Fuck me dead.
I actually don't like the design either. Forget the price tag for a second. Too many triangular things going on for me on the dial. Like it's just too severe for me. So this is supposed to be a reissue of the original Alpinist. Is that what it is, Al? Or maybe Aussie, what
No,
year?
I don't know enough about it. There's no way that this is a reissue. I mean, the Alpinist isn't even that old.
It says for some reason 1959 Alpinist recreation.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I know nothing then.
Because the first Seiko sports watch, the Laurel Alpinist, is recreated in this distinctive limited edition. Yeah.
So, guys, I'm gonna head out as well. It's getting late.
CMH.
We'll catch you guys in the next one. Nice one, Lord. Great video, Lord.
Thank you. Do you know that, Aussie?
What?
That's Archie's sign off.
Oh, okay.
I'll catch you in the next one. Leave a nasty or vicious comment below. Nice one, Archie. Great video.
I never make it to the end of Archie's videos.
Excuse me.
I know. Well, he's learned one of the best tricks in sort of like presenter playbook, and that is repetition works, David. Repetition works, David. So you already have almost every point that he wants to make after halfway, and then you're going to hear it repeated basically for the rest of it, and then a few ads. I don't know, on YouTube, I really I don't know. I have a crusade against Chrome, the things that sort of bookend a video, and the things that have to be in there, the obligatory things that you have to pay homage to the algorithmic gods. Like you have to tell people to like, comment, and subscribe. You have to have an intro. You have to have an ad. You need to do an outro. And I'm not telling you not to do it, Lord. Anyone that actually wants to take YouTube seriously should put these things in, because despite the fact that all of this wastes the customer's time, it actually works. And it also gives them the impression that you're a serious YouTube channel, that the information you're about to get is actually good, even though it's just bookended with garbage. And then who knows what the content is like, but at least we've wasted 2 minutes of your time. So yeah, I'm not, I just do this for love and fun. So I'm not going to adjust how I make a video just because it'll be rewarded on YouTube.
That's fair. I mean, I think, I don't see myself higher than asking people, even begging sometimes, that they like, comment, and subscribe, which I will do right now, and help me,
Yes.
spread the word far and wide so I can get to 1,000 subscribers, which is my first major goal on YouTube. So I would really appreciate that. But I do, when it comes to videos, I'm just I have a lot to learn in terms of editing videos, so I don't tackle it at this point. I do shorter narrative videos, which I will do more and more in time, like 4 to 6 minutes long. I just prepare a narrative, and then I basically have a slideshow that I go through and read through that narrative that I crafted. Because I know people don't watch or rewatch and replay long live streams a lot of times. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't, the only genre or the only mode of presentation that I subscribe to is a very simple rule of any presentation. You basically tell people what you are going to talk about that, and then recap. It's like you don't have to, I think in any medium, you don't have to reinvent the wheel necessarily. Of course, there are ways of really gaming the system and climbing up the stairs perhaps a little faster than the rest of the people, but nothing really beats organic growth with just creating content. And you have to see what sticks. But I would never, I would never really want to make a video about what I don't want to talk about, what doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't work that way. I have to be passionate about it. And I have to do it the way it comes naturally to me, which might come across as very stilted and perhaps a little uptight, but that's just how I operate. So
one of the I used to go through a lot of directors' commentaries on back in the days of DVDs, and one of the really interesting exercises that a director recommended or said how he got good at visual stuff and doing, making movies was he had a professor at UCLA film school, and he said you got to watch a movie and just write down every single shot. Write it down, what type of shot this is, like every single shot. Just write down every shot and have that sort of vocabulary well established, like understand exactly what shot is being made, not just enjoy the movie, but to actually just step back and say, what is the shot that I'm seeing? And on YouTube, I find not that's my practice. I've taken, sometimes I make the effort, sometimes I don't, but where it can be very useful is watch a video that you really do like, from a channel that you really do like, and just write down every single shot that they did. Why did they do it? And do that, and then go with your own content, but try replicate what they did. And look, invariably, you will not get a perfect copy of their video. One, it's on a different subject. Two, there'll be shots that don't make sense or stuff like that. But it gives you the vocabulary visually and presentation wise about where is it appropriate. Do I ask them for like and subscribe at the end of the video? Oh, here they did it 3 minutes before the end, and the conclusion was really in the middle, and it was more flavor towards the end and stuff like that. So structure and stuff like that it's sort of like music, right? Where you have music structure that changes and is useful, can be repeated across different songs or not.
I think reverse engineering is very helpful in creating any kind of content, honestly, because for me, for example, the way I improved as a writer was exactly through the process that you described, right? I basically read good writing that I enjoyed, that I considered to be an example of good style. And then I basically zoomed into each and every paragraph and took ideas about how that person articulated their thoughts in that paragraph, what served as a way of introduction, what substantiated that particular point, and what concluded everything and took me to the next step, to the next paragraph, right? At the end of the day, I do the same with my own writing as well, right? Sometimes I just write freely, and then I go back and try to generate a more more solid structure out of it. But that's in general, when you work with best examples, which is, it can be, like you said, a video that you really enjoy. It can be a piece that you have read and really inspired you, and that's the best way to learn. You immerse yourself in good examples, and you learn from them in an almost systematic manner. You know, just delve into the composition and try to derive your own principles from it. I think that's a very good suggestion.
Your commentary there made me think of Archie, actually, and Nico Leonard. Archie originally said he's like stealing my stick or something like that, but he's not being, you know, really truthful there. But at the same time, I think that if more of Archie's videos were presented in sort of like the modern YouTube video vocabulary, where it has multiple shots, it has B-roll, you take parts from the heated moment, you put it up near the front and say like coming soon, in, you know, within the video, like a sort of like a sort of a controversial statement, then you go back in. That if he had a more accessible style, I think Archie would be funnier than, say, Nico Leonard. So if you gave AC3 Nico Leonard's editing production team, and they used Archie instead of Nico, I think Archie would be more successful. It's not a slide on Nico, but you know, I think Archie's super underrated, and my friends couldn't get through his videos because they couldn't get through the audio quality issues.
Yeah, that's true. I think, you know, a lot of times I pay a lot of attention to chats, especially since I have been given a wrench in the chat for Archie's live stream. And a lot of people actually come up with this idea, you know, Archie should have someone like a social media manager who creates like little snippets, clips for Instagram, for TikTok, for whatever. And like you said, you know, maybe, look, there's something to be said about really overstepping certain boundaries of genre, right? Maybe Archie is already so larger than life in YouTube, which is his kind of homegrown soil, right? That's his native soil. Maybe you don't really want to mess with something that works well for him. But to drive different kinds of traffic into that channel, I think it could be a really good idea. And again, this is not even my idea. It's bouncing back off of what you just said and a lot of things that I read from the chat, that if there was someone who knew the particular language of TikTok as a medium, Instagram as a medium, and had the ability to create, you know, shorts, reels, TikToks, whatever you want to call it, from his videos, from his live streams, I think that can increase his success at a very different rate, maybe an exponential rate. You know, it would. I think that's a great idea. I don't know how it can be implemented. I don't know who can implement it, but it's certainly something that one can work on.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the content that Nico Leonard has put out has been relatively what's called evergreen content, which is content that doesn't necessarily have to make all its bucks within the first few days because it's not that topical. So as an example, most of his videos are celebrity watch review type stuff. And as long as that celebrity remains famous, that video will continue to get attention for a long time. And so it doesn't even have to be a large body of videos that have to be created at all. It's just really about subject matter. You could look at Nico Leonard's channel, and I think content is once every couple weeks or once every week.
Mm.
So we're not talking about hundreds and hundreds of videos. He probably overtook Archie within the first few months, I think. So it really doesn't take, a massive slog. Like, you could tell from the first outset whether or not you've got a formula that's making some sense. So it doesn't mean like you got to pay production for like months and months and months to figure out whether or not it'll work. You should be able to figure out if you're onto something within the first month, first 3 or 4 videos.
Yeah. Thank you, Birmingham, for the kind words. I take that as a compliment. Sometimes, I feel like I might put people into sleep, but for the most part, thank you. But yeah, here's another fan of the Santos. He just got Burbs just got a Santos medium, and he wears it really well.
Why is everyone going for the medium? I've seen both, and I've got a smaller wrist, and I think I like the large.
You do? Yeah. I mean, Chris. Why do I keep saying Chris? Wristwatchholic is after the large, for example, the limited edition that's in rose gold, and he has fairly large wrists, not humongous, but and I think he would wear it really well. I think medium. I heard Birminghard explain, that he liked how it fit, but also thought that since it has this interchangeable strap mechanism, that it could be something that his wife could borrow for a few times a month or something. And
that's a really good idea.
That seems like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Because the Santos large would look large on.
I know. Yeah, I guess
oversized on most women's wrists. So that I completely understand. The date window irritates some people on the large version. I think large X large. I think it has. I don't know if there are exceptions. This limited edition model certainly doesn't have a date. So I think that's a concern for some people. They think it's not pleasing aesthetically.
Yeah, fair enough. Those are sort of considerations I hadn't thought of. I personally like the date. Like I feel like going to the medium, like I'm losing the date. But I'm a date sub guy, not a no date sub guy.
I'm a fundamentalist, so I just like simple three-handers. In fact, like I love the 5402, like the original Royal Oak that has just 2 hands, not even a second hand. To actually that's an interesting flex for an automatic watch, right? To have just 2 hands, no second hand. Cool.
The furthest I can go on the mechanical is small seconds, whether it's because it's a chrono or like the JLCs, there's a lot of small seconds, and I do find that pleasing. But yeah, going hour and minute only, that is a bit of a flex. I mean, that's how I you make a quartz movement acceptable, not simplify a mechanical movement.
Except it doesn't have that irritating ticking sound the whole time. To me, I already have too much existential dread, and I always feel time is passing me by. So I don't need that's my only real problem with most quartz watches, the fact that it ticks, because it's just too much, too frequent, too immediate of a reminder that time is passing. And sometimes I just want to slow things down and listen perhaps to some some mechanical movement once every so often, which to me is much more pleasing and much more calming than the course one. Jamie has something here. Changed my hotel to Paris hotel. Watched a lot of videos. The Trump hotel makes no sense.
Welcome, Jamie. I'm glad to hear that you've bitten the bullet and cancelled reservations to rebook at Paris. I don't think you'll regret that decision. As I said, I think both you and which Australian was on and AK Ben, were correct in that there is a big advantage in everyone being in the same place. That same place really shouldn't have been the Trump Hotel. It's it's not about the name; it's just the wrong location.
At least it just started. I think it started as a kind of joke. I think Air King Ben may have actually done that, but I think then he basically said, "Okay, Tim, you can stay with me," just to instigate Tim a little bit, because Tim is supposed to be the left-wing guy among all of us.
Well, so the rates for the Trump Hotel that Jamie pulled up did surprise me, because my understanding is it is a good hotel, and the rate was like 20% cheaper than Paris. So for Air King Ben's logic, it makes sense, where it's like it's about the people and not the hotel. But the thing is, it may as well be like really, really far off strip. It's just the wrong location. You cannot do anything easily without transport or something like that. And for many people, it might be their first trip to Vegas. So it's Jamie Opulence's first trip. And I said, you got to stay on the strip. You got to have a little bit of spontaneous fun in the middle of the night, and not have to worry about how to get an Uber to and from your budget option.
Yeah, I still haven't booked my room there, so I should do that soon, because it's the Halloween weekend. So,
well, the area that they're talking about is like right in the middle now. So Paris is where Jamie's booked, and Dodger. Paris is a good budget option, but I think Planet Hollywood is also there. But I think Planet Hollywood is actually a little bit more expensive, which surprised me, because I've seen the other way around, but I've always booked Planet Hollywood myself. It's a good, clean hotel with really good middle class options for food and dining and shopping, as opposed to just Louis Vuitton and Gordon Ramsay restaurants or something.
well, we know that we are not making a reservation for the Gordon Ramsay restaurant when we are hosting the Pontiff in Las Vegas. Does Gordon Ramsay have a restaurant in Vegas?
Yeah, I had to hold my tongue there a bit, because Planet Hollywood does have a Gordon Ramsay restaurant. Yeah, there's quite a few. There's Hell's Kitchen from the TV show, that's actually on the strip outside of Caesars. There's Burger, which is at Planet Hollywood. I think STK in Cosmo, but I could be wrong. That might not be a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, and there might be another one that I'm not fully aware of. But yeah, there's a lot of Gordon Ramsay options. And then the other celebrity chef, Wolfgang Puck. I know he's got Spargo. I had brunch there a couple of weeks ago with my wife. That was lovely. We're very lucky to have the terrace view over the Bellagio fountains. I don't know why we got it. We're very lucky. They got a whole restaurant with maybe 30 plus tables. We were not the first in the door, but they asked us if we wanted the terrace.
Ozzy, sometimes being a good-looking couple goes a long way. So they probably want to put you in a decent part of the restaurant for their own benefit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, whatever worked. My wife was wearing her Yachtmaster, and I had. Gee, I forget. Let me look at pictures.
37?
Yeah, Everose 37.
Nice. Yeah. And Jamie says there's a cigar lounge at the Paris Hotel and the Davidoff shop too. Sorted.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was wearing the Speedmaster.
What kind of speedy do you have?
The 3861 Sapphire. I've always wanted a Speedy, and it came time that I needed to buy something that wasn't just a Steel Sports Rolex from my AD.
That's not a bad compromise.
Yeah, that's how it works. I think OC tends to give me the impression that he only gets really hot stuff, and he despises the not hot stuff enough. But his conversation today also implied that he's a bit more realistic as well. That you need to help them with their goals too, which probably isn't just offloading Steel Sports watches to one person. So I'm not exactly sure how he manages that. For me, I do have to sprinkle in some non-hot stuff here and there, and so that becomes the real challenge. All the cheap stuff is easy, you know what I mean? Who wouldn't say no to X, Y, Z? You know, with as long as it starts with Rolex. Whether or not the Black Bay Pro is worth a buy, the Santos is worth a buy, the Speedmaster is worth a buy, a JLC. These are the harder choices, and because of the way the relationship works, I can't just get only Rolexes. So I have to really think about these other watches.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, I'm actually really happy that OC stuck with the community, because I was really thinking that after first couple of times he showed up on Archie's stream, and Archie made like 2 videos about him called the douchebag Rolex collector. And then I realized,
I'm not really sure who he's talking about.
I realized then, like after a little while, that this guy actually has a pretty interesting collection, because he has an oyster quartz day date, he has a King Midas. Not everyone has those kinds of oddball vintage Rolexes. So he actually has an interest in watches and in Rolexes that go well beyond what's most predictable and most desirable and most hyped up pieces in the current lineup. Which, again, I don't begrudge against anyone necessarily. That's not my idea of collecting watches necessarily, but then again, we have room for different approaches. We have room for different combinations, different tastes, different brand dedication and loyalty. And yeah, OC has non-Rolex watches in his collection as well. I don't know if you have chanced upon his Instagram. He has some interesting, unexpected from OC kind of pieces there.
There's another Australian YouTuber, not so obvious watches, who had a good video, and the subject was good and bad collections, and it really was just on the subject, like, how can a collection be good or bad? Like, I think about it myself sometimes. Like, I see a picture of someone's collection, and they'll have like 2 watches or 3 watches, and it will be like they'll have a sub date and a Speedmaster. I'm like, oh, that's cool. A two watch collection. That's really cool. Like the 2 icons, or they'll have the Explorer and a GMT Master 2 Batman or something like that. I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's, it's a little bit, more extreme on both ends. It's kind of cool. But I picked these ones because they're subsets of my own collection, and sometimes I think more highly of these like shrink wrapped little combos than I do of my own collection, which is too many, which is like what OC was kind of saying. But I don't know what's too many. Hearing Bear say that he will just continue buying more. so it gives you some pause. It's like there really is no end. It doesn't. There's nothing that will come down upon you, and you realize, like, you know what, it was too much.
Thomas Broadbent asks, any experience with FXD Pelagos or Tudor bronze? My experience with the FXD is what I saw and handled at the AD, and also what I have been exposed to, of course, through tickers. And that watch has just very, very impressive lume, right? Both on the bezel insert and on the dial. I appreciate that. I like that they introduced another model into the Pelagos lineup, which, incidentally is my favorite part of the entire Tudor range. I still prefer the full, Pelagos with the titanium bracelet. I think that's a very nice watch. Yeah, if I were to get, I think, a Tudor today, if I had no watches and I was somehow coming into the hobby, probably I would get a Tudor, and it would either be Pelagos, and depending on how I feel about it, once I actually handled the watch, maybe the new Black Bay Pro. From a distance so far, I like it. I kind of have maybe the wrong expectation, but I have the idea that maybe for a 39mm watch, that thickness might not be of the right proportion to me. I don't know, but Pelagos, I love it. I would prefer it with the full titanium bracelet. The bronze and silver watches, I think it's a little unnecessary. I think we don't really need to experiment with these materials anymore. We know how to work with stainless steel. That's the ideal, and it has become still, it's a little harder to work with than precious metals, of course, but it has become industrialized and common enough that that's the sports watch genre. I don't get the bronze. I'm not really interested in it, in how it takes patina, because for me, steel takes enough patina over the years, and I love it already. So for me, there's no reason to experiment. What do you think, Ozzy? Sorry, Ozzy.
So yeah, I agree with you on the Pelagos. I've never seen the FXD, but I do own the Pelagos in blue. It's a really cool watch. It is the only luxury watch diver. It's only diver watch, in my opinion, that is actually trying to just be the very best diving watch possible. All the other watches are trying to straddle a line into luxury and that sort of thing. So I think the Pelagos line is very good. It's there on my wrist. I just think that the having the graduations go all the way around the bezel, and then the retrograde is cool on the FXD. It's just not for me. I prefer this. I do like the date window as well, and the titanium bracelet and the clasp has received nothing but praise from most people. And no matter how good that new NATO strap is, I don't think anyone would say that it's better than the titanium bracelet. It does have a big upshot in that it's a little bit thinner, and the overall weight of the watch is going to be very, very light, even though the proper Pelagos has a bracelet that's full titanium. So it's really up to you. And thankfully, because it's Tudor, you can. No, actually, the FXD is impossible. I was about to say you can go and have a look. I was like, no, actually, you can't. I don't know how you managed it, Lord.
It's been a while. It's not any recently. I don't think my AD right now. I don't think it has the Pelagos on a bracelet either. Right now, I think even that is gone from the case.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's impossible to get. Don't take me wrong, but you would have to wait a little bit.
Yeah. And so moving on to the Black Bay bronze. Now, I know you didn't say which one because there's a 58 bronze. I think that's the boutique exclusive, and then the Black Bay bronze, and then also the Black Bay bronze Bookerer edition with a blue dial.
Right.
But anyway, I think it's really good if you're a more distinguished gentleman. Having something that looks very new on your wrist, I think, is perhaps a little bit too young. And the bronze gives a patina that gives it an older look without it literally being an older watch. So this is one that was worn on someone's wrist for about 5 years, I think he said. So it gives this very warm look. So it doesn't look new, right? But it's not old because of scratches. It's old because it's got that patina, and you can see a little look at the side there. I'll zoom in just a little bit more, and it's up to you to decide whether or not this look, which is what it will end up looking like, is for you. I think on the gentleman that was wearing this, he's an older guy. It really suited his look and his overall age to have this sort of watch that sort of, yeah, it's got some wear, it's got some character, but it's certainly not what a lot of people are looking for, right?
Yeah. This is interesting. Hunting Mike just said bronze can patina more than just green, which is what I didn't mean to imply. That it's just I'm not really interested in seeing that on a watch. But he brought up Henry Moore. Henry Moore's sculptures is actually why I spend so much time in Pasadena, even though I don't live there, not yet at least. They have a very beautiful museum there called Norton Simon Museum, and they have a few sculptures by him. And this is my favorite one, King and Queen. It's called. Let's see. Yeah. And it's out there actually in their garden, so it's exposed to a lot of the elements. And what I really like about this particular sculpture is how frail and thin they look, almost emaciated if you look at them as human beings. But since the sculpture is called King and Queen, you can kind of see two figures that have almost receded into their seats, right, into the positions they occupy. It's as if they're not, a king and a queen, but somehow, the essence of the king and the queen, right? These are just two seats that some mortal being can take up for a limited time. I love that guy's sculptures. He has a lot of these sorts of ensemble type stuff, like family, couples, etc. It's very, very, very powerful artist. But yeah, it's interesting that he brought that up all of a sudden. I wasn't expecting that in a conversation about Tudor bronze, but Henry Moore is a great sculptor.
Very interesting. Just going back on some comments, J617 asked me, have you been to Casa Fuente, Little Opa's boutique at Forum Shop? Small space, but great sticks. I'm not sure what he means. Sticks. I think is that cigars or something? Let me have a look.
I think so. I think that's what he means. Casa Fuentes strikes me as a cigar shop. I might be completely wrong. Um, Chunkster
Yes.
talks about his experience of having owned an LHD version of the Pelagos, and I'm glad it ended up at a good place, Chunk, and that you also got a new watch out of it.
I want to comment on the LHD. So for me, that was the first encounter that I had of such a watch with the left-hand drive, and because the Pelagos is first and foremost a tool watch and really nothing else, I simply assumed that the left-hand drive was to keep the crown away from digging into your hand, and that it was purely
Right.
functional, and that there was actually no relationship to the population of customers that might be left-handed. It never even occurred to me that the left-hand drive would be for a left-handed person.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean that's why there's the confusion, because since we have taken so many of the terms and nicknames for the watches from Italian collectors, who were kind of involved earlier in this game than most of us in the US. Like they call the left hand LHDs, the left hand drives, they call destro, which is actually righty, right? That's what it means, because the expectation is a left-hander, unlike a right-hander, would wear his watch on the right, right? So it's like, a left-hander watch is actually a righty. But you're right, it doesn't have to be limited to that. And I was trying to talk about that a few days ago when I did a stream on this leaked internal Rolex booklet, where there is absolutely no reference with the new GMT to left-handers. It's all about, like, how this is unique for Rolex, and the very first time in the history of GMT Masters that you have this inverted look, and there was not one reference to. There was, like, a sales pitch part in the booklet, and there wasn't a bullet point about, like, well, suggest this watch to lefties or something.
Yeah, hand a pen to your customer and see which one. Oh, I got the right watch for you.
Doesn't care. Yeah. Rolex doesn't care. So it really, I mean, that I think that was purely a way of Rolex flexing in a weird way, because when you take out that left-hander GMT, everything else is quite predictable. Evolution over revolution, cosmetic changes, slight modifications.
I saw some YouTube videos talking about how this was slightly more surprising than a Coke, and how they had to, spend some time perfecting the color and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm sorry, but a ceramic bezel in all green has been available since 2010. like it's like 12 plus years with a green bezel. This really is not new.
Yeah, I mean, in that material, which is again internal, it's not marketing, I understand, but it had the sales pitch section. Yeah, they spent more time focusing on the bicolor bezel with green and black. They spent more time focusing on how that inverted look is the very first for GMT Master. And as far as I know, again, I stand to be corrected still on this, the first time in serial production that Rolex makes an LHD watch. Of course, you can talk about what we just talked about in Tudor Pelagos. You can talk about the unique special order watches that they produce for very significant people, like the Charlie Chaplin Rolex, for example, that sold on an auction maybe 10 years ago by now. They also had LHD divers for Comex and mil spec orders that they issued, but all of those are extremely rare and very limited in number. But yeah, I might be wrong again, but I think it's the first time in Rolex's history that they have something in the production line where you have this left-hand drive model.
Thomas Broadbent says he visited the AD, and we'll see if he can get on a call on the Rolex Destro. Good luck. I spoke to my AD, and it's not really going to happen. The demand is just too high. It's just everyone's just calling. They want that one. So I think it's just going to be really tough. I don't think Rolex will be making a heck of a lot of these, and it's as best as I can tell, the demand is going to be higher than the Pepsi, and the supply is probably going to be less than the Pepsi. And I don't think it's really like the grey price means that it's probably going to be in the $40,000 range. I don't think it's worth that. It's going to be a real tough one. It's like the gangbusters, like moon swatch door at London. Basically, it's that everyone wants it.
Right. I mean, the thing is, I think the first predictions that were in fact warmer about it were saying, well, maybe it will have a lukewarm reception at first, but everyone will want it after the first few months. But even before you explained this, I knew that people will jump on it right away, because a lot of people thought, again, since there's so much demand on all the GMT masters right now in the lineup, especially the Pepsi, people are just dying at this point to get a GMT master. I'm sorry to put it in these words, but the demand is just crazy. It's through the roof. So I knew that people were going to jump on it, especially thinking, oh, maybe this is a watch that we can actually get. Maybe there won't be so much demand. But I think it's quite the opposite, actually, because, look, I mean, again, left-handers are naturally attracted to it because finally Rolex has a watch in its lineup that can be worn just as well on the right hand. Or, I mean, better, it's designed to be worn on the right hand. It's quirky, it's different, and because it's different and it might not survive the next cut, a lot of collectors and other people who want to flip the watch have already lined up because they know that that watch is sure to gain in value and in very very short term even.
I just want to. So Thomas is saying something about paying retail, non-secondary. I'm guessing because you can actually talk to your AD, you actually have a good relationship. I do too. What I'd like to stress is that the demand level versus supply level is so extremely high that you may have a better chance asking for, like, you may already have it, but I'm just saying as an example to put it out there, you may have a better chance of getting a steel Daytona than this left-hand drive model, comparing supply versus demand, and you may want the Daytona more. So why would you burn your, how do you say, your reserve of, in relationship on the LHD if you actually want a Daytona more? That's the sort of range we're really talking about here. Blue Sky Dweller, LHD, Daytona. Which of these do you actually really like? Which ones do you already have? That's where it's going to be. I'd simply ask, are there other watches that you would prefer over the LHD, or is this your number one pick? Because, yeah,
I think that's fair. Because again, I think the demand might end up being disproportionate. I mean, you're an engineer, so you probably know better about this than I do. But my assumption is probably it's a little. It takes probably a little more time than the regular production to maybe make one of these watches. I'm not sure if it's
actually, I really tried to break it down. My GMT is in the bank at the moment, so I couldn't pull it out to take a look. I wonder if it's a different case. Could you not just flip the case?
I guess, yeah.
And then you're mounting the bracelet the other way around. So the only thing that actually is being constructed that's unique to this model is the date wheel, because on the left-hand side, the dates are actually upside down with a normal date wheel, and then the dial has to have a cutout. The sapphire, I imagine you could just rotate around,
Right.
but the only thing you can't do is the crown etching at 6 o'clock. But I don't know at what part of the process that etching takes place. It doesn't really matter because that's sort of like an add-on thing. So you just turn a few of those sapphires around, then get it laser etched. So overall, I don't think there's any significant new processes or molds or anything like that. Like if it was genuinely new case and new movement, then it would be, yeah, I could understand how these get limited very, very quickly.
I mean, one thing that supports that theory is it's still the 40 millimeter case, right? That was one expectation people had. Maybe Rolex will update the GMT case and make it 41 as well. That hasn't happened. And also, the way you're describing it, I can't really find a fault in that narrative, except of course, I'm just wondering now about your initial assumption, that it might be a more limited production than the Pepsi. Why did you come up?
It's just it just strikes me that the Pepsi is the most popular GMT master.
Okay.
That there's probably more Pepsis than there are Batmans. It's just the demand level for Pepsi is just that much higher. And for this model, it's probably going to come in at around the Batman supply levels, but the demand is exceeding Pepsi levels, basically.
Okay. Well, so let's see. I just want to pull up now that people are asking questions in the chat. I just want to pull up that document and flip to that page, and we can have another look.
J617 says Asia loves green. So a lot of the excitement about this particular piece was about the color, and it just kind of surprised me that all of a sudden people forgot that the Starbucks still exists. You get a full green bezel on that watch. And it's easier to get than a GMT Batman, I think. I might be wrong on that one, but it's in that same territory. So you get a full green bezel without as much trouble.
So
it isn't a different green. In the renders on the website, it looks like a different green to the Starbucks, but the videos in person, as best as I can tell, it's the same green. As best as I can tell, it's the same green as what you'd see on the Starbucks or Hulk.
So yeah, there's no hint whatsoever, and they're pretty specific in this document, to the point, for example, they talk about how they removed the diver's extension in not only the Deep Sea and Deep Sea James Cameron, but also Sea Dweller 43 in steel. Here, for example, there's no mention of anything about a case redesign. Version with the winding crown and crown guard on the left side of the case, date aperture at 9 o'clock, magnified by a Cyclops lens, 2-color 24-hour graduated monoblock Cerachrome bezel insert in green and black ceramic, green lacquer 24-hour hand, new on the version with the 2-color Cerachrome insert, optimized chromolite display, sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, and adaptation of the watch precision testing process. So I don't really see anything different about the case design. They mentioned that they will be offering it with, on a Jubilee bracelet as well. Yeah, it's the same case as the other GMT Master 2s.
I think so. I could easily simply be wrong. Above that, the hemisphere with the crown, as best as I can tell, it's the above the 9 and 3 line is the same as below the 9 and 3 line. That if you literally turn your watch upside down, that's what the case looks like. You just got to mount the bracelet the other way. Serial number on the bottom has to be changed instead of being on the top. But yeah, I don't think there's like major components that have to be remade for this, or never made from scratch for this. But basically, there's a lot less work here than the new Air King.
Yes, yeah.
So on that note, my AD said they hadn't gotten a single call for the Air King. And when I say AD, my SA. So none of his clients asked for an Air King.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And none asked for the Tudor Black Bay Pro. But I've been looking more and more at the Air King, and I like it. I really hated the previous gen. I thought it was stupid. It was dumb. Didn't like it. Thought it was ugly. Didn't like the case. The new one, I actually like it. I wouldn't pick it above a lot of other Rolex watches, but I already own those other Rolex watches, and this one makes the cut. I would like to have this one. I especially like that it's got a fully brushed bracelet. It gives me very Explorer vibes, but it's clearly not an Explorer with the guards and the size, and the dial has a 369, but it doesn't, it plays a lot of things that I like, and I just like the new symmetry on the dial and the lume, because previously it just looked like a mishmash of two different watch dials just sort of stuck together. But now that there is lume in those 369 indices, it looks more consistent with the rest of the fonts being used on the watch. So I see less visual jarring.
I mean, in a way, it's a very different aesthetic, of course, because the Explorer is a very minimalist ideal of a sports watch, but in a way, since they eliminated 39 and they have now added crown guards to this and loomed the 369, in a way, in the larger Rolex lineup, this kind of took the place of Explorer 39 in the current lineup.
Yeah.
So I can certainly see the appeal of it, becoming a little broader. I'm actually very surprised. I mean, again, I like it better than the last generation. It's still not something that grabs my attention, that tickles my fancy, whatever you want to say, that rings my bell, that sings to me. I just don't get this particular model, but I can see it just being interesting to more people. I'm kind of surprised that your sales associate didn't get any requests or any calls about it.
Yeah, it's a complete dud. I think I'll try pick one up. because when a watch is in that state, it still can't be put in the case, but they will still have trouble offloading it. So you're not sort of making it more difficult or extending the time before you get a watch that you really want. So, yeah. Wait, PCLs? What? J617 says, bridge the gap between the OP and EX1 for the keyboard warriors. Yes, people love PCLs. Well, there's no PCLs on this. Are you saying that they should have put PCLs on it? I know. What is a little bit, I'm a little weary of. The only thing I can say is the thing that gives me slight pause is they've gone to a 21 millimeter bracelet. I understand why they did that for the sub. I'm not exactly sure why this needs it.
I don't honestly. I mean, I think the proportions seem a little better to me with the 21 millimeter bracelet. I would like to handle this watch and actually see it before I decide on that, of course. But at least on these renderings, photographs, whatever you want to call it, it looks very nicely proportioned. Could you see it with a smaller bracelet? Like, would you have given it thicker lugs in that case, or just taper it more severely?
Yeah, I don't know. The reason I make the point is that I've been looking more and more at my Submariner from like this angle here, looking at that first link that comes off the end link, and that first link is really big on the 21 millimeter Submariner. So it just gives me a little bit of pause. It's not the extent that I don't think it's perfect anymore, but yeah, it just gives me a little bit of pause. That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of testosterone in this watch, a lot more than the previous Explorer 39, with the crown guards and the just the overall complexity. J617 says Milgauss has PCLs. I thought it was the same. Yeah, so I initially thought that this may have had it, and then on the website when I saw it was all brushed, my eyes lit up, and I said, "Wow, okay, this is not the straddle of sports and classic that the Milgauss does anymore, and this is now firmly a sports watch in the Rolex lineup." And so I like it. I think the crown guards to me are a little quirky because I'm coming from the eyes of seeing the previous Air King, the Milgauss, and the Explorer, and adding the crown guards is like, it's sort of a little weird. So it's got a little bit of flair.
Yeah, I mean, again, to me, all of these things make the watch a little more attractive. And I would like to think that it gives it a wider appeal. But yeah, let's see how it performs. I think it will sell, and it will sell immediately. So I'm still very surprised. And maybe that's an isolated situation. Who knows? But there are also, there's so many other models.
It's just my sales associate. Who knows what happens?
But I can certainly see most people. I mean, when I walked to the AD the day after, and with a completely unrelated question to any of the new releases, I always make a point of dealing with the same person. So I waited until she finished on the phone, and it was basically a 30-minute conversation with someone who was asking for the new GMT. And she was basically trying to tell him, look, I won't be offended if you can get it from someone else. She was trying to just, like, leave me alone. We don't have to spend half an hour on the phone about this.
Yeah.
But anyway, so maybe because of that, it might fall through the cracks at the very beginning. So it would be a very wise move on your part if you could make the move early on and get a piece like that, because I think, yes, initially people are more interested in in the new GMT first and foremost.
Yeah, it was how I was able to get the Explorer 36mm last year in May, early May. So it was like one of the first ones in America, and it was because my AD, they had some initial knockbacks. Basically, people just didn't like the size. They didn't register enough interest. People who did come in to get them, there was more people saying no after seeing the watch than usual. But time has done its thing with that watch. People come to their senses. 39mm. I'm sorry, guys, is ultimately a mistake.
Right. When do you think the ADs will get them? Did your sales associate tell you anything about that?
No, I give up on trying to predict that, because out of last year's releases, you would have thought the easiest thing to ship out the door was a new dial on the Datejust, the palm frond style. I expected that to come first, not a brand new watch, which is what the Explorer 36 was. And to this day, so my AD said they saw a palm fronds Datejust 36 for the first time last week. So that's 1 year after announcement. They saw their very first one, and my AD is a very big AD, very, very big. They're probably doing hundreds of watches a week, and they've only seen one after 1 year.
Wow. Yeah, when I truly have no idea about this. I did wonder about certain things and asked, since I was already there, and she said it will probably take them another month to even receive full training on the new models, and maybe then they might start getting some of the exhibition only ones. But to sell, I would really not imagine them getting anything before May, honestly, and it might drag on even until later. Maybe early summer would be an optimistic estimate. But then again,
let's perhaps just stick to the facts. Dials for the DJ appeared sporadically, or for some ADs never, and for some ADs only one just recently. The Explorer landed for most ADs in May, so a month later. What else was released last year that was new? Oh, Meteorite Daytonas only started showing up around, I think, September of last year, and then a few more around January. So it took quite a while for those meteorites to land, and wow, has the market on those changed? I did a video on the Meteorite Daytona saying the David SW price of 68,000 was relatively low, and I thought I was being a little controversial. I was just doing math between the demand on the steel watch and the demand on a meteorite, and what the likely supply conditions were. And it's like they basically shared the same amount of premium, like almost exactly the same. And it's like, yeah, but the supply demand curve on that one's like, for every steel panda, there's probably, for every meteorite, there's probably 500 steel pandas.
oh, so yeah, that's a unicorn right there.
Yeah. I don't think I understood even at that time just exactly how rare it was going to be, but it's exceptionally rare. So I tell you, we're likely to see at least one watch in May. If Past is going to say anything, who knows when that second one comes? There's no real rush. I'd say the GMT Master is probably the one that would lag. It's not like their customers are going to be lagging behind on a GMT Master, as in like, well, we're already shipping GMT Masters. Is this particular variant that important?
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm actually thinking of concluding about a minute. This has been a great conversation. Ozzy, thanks for jumping on. As always, it's very enlightening to talk with you. I especially appreciate still the comments you made about Oysterflex and precious metal, and how it's like a way of executing the two-tone in the contemporary line, which is a point that I picked up on and keep repeating. So it's been great. It's always a learning experience with you. And everyone else who jumped on the panel, thank you. Thank you for being here in the chat and supporting us with your questions, with your requests. And those of you who have been here since the beginning, upvoting, having subscribed and spread the word, and sending me very encouraging messages and sometimes donations through PayPal. Thank you all. My first goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you just keep spreading the word about the channel, supporting the channel on other platforms, sharing some of the videos, I would very much appreciate that. If you want to encourage me in creating more original content, step outside of the box a little bit and do some outside shoots. If you want to help me buy the equipment for that, consider making a PayPal donation. It's right there with my email address, lordhellespont5@gmail.com, lordhellespont@gmail.com. In either case, if you have any questions, any requests, if you want me to do a collection review for you, or if you want me to peek into a brand's history, assess a certain model, or even help you with an upcoming watch purchase, I would be delighted to do that for you. Send me an email and maybe a nominal donation, and I'll make a special video for you. And if you want a collection review, we'll schedule something where you can appear on the stream with me, preferably where we can actually learn more about you and your life and your lifestyle with the help of your watches. It's always a pleasure for me to get to know some of the characters in the Archieverse in a more intimate fashion. So those collection reviews really give me and everyone else in the community that chance. So send me an email and I'm sure we can figure something out. In either case, guys, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to upvote on your way out if you already haven't. And I'll catch you in the next live stream and probably at Archie's live stream before that. Goodbye and good night.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure, Lord.
Likewise, man.